We had a rip-roaring good Christmas and New Year. But winter is about to get twice as exciting. This update brings a new twin-barreled tank branch, crucial rebalances, fun-filled celebrations, and glorious rewards. But first, a reminder about Battle Journey. If you still haven't checked your achievements from 2024, now's the time. You'll get all the juicy details about your tanking career, which you can share with friends. It's a good idea to ponder the past if you want to prepare for a prosperous future. And now, onto what that future has in store for you. Don't miss the new branch of British twin-barreled heavies. They're enticing, pretty powerful, and quite different from their Soviet double-barreled cousins. The latter have auto-reloaders, firing 2 shells one after the other. When both are reloaded, you can fire a salvo with a delay and a penalty afterward. British twin-barreled tanks are a different breed of cat. They're like 2 cyclic tanks in one. One with low alpha damage but good accuracy and mobility. The other with devastating damage but reduced speed and much wider dispersion, albeit with perfect stabilization. This means that in salvo mode, the aiming circle barely widens while moving or turning the turret. The salvo fires instantly, no need to spend time aiming or holding the necessary key. It takes 2 seconds to switch between modes after pressing X. You can switch on the move, for instance, when approaching an enemy. It's best to spend most of the battle in single fire mode, since you can move faster and fire accurately and effectively from long range. But when an enemy comes close, X, 2 seconds, left click. Remember that to fire, tanks from the new branch need to load both barrels. So, after a salvo, you'll have to wait through double loading even if you switch straight to single fire mode. Changing the shell type also means loading both barrels. All tanks in the new branch have this mechanic and general concept. But each has its own little quirks. Get to know them all and find new favorites, not just at Tier 10. But the main attraction is the can opener, which splits apart armor with salvos causing an average of 840 HP of damage. Its own thick armor lets it engage in duels and make the most of those salvos. Steel never fails. The gun depression is British. The mobility is typically heavy in single fire mode and super heavy in salvo mode. The can opener isn't just strong and reliable. It's a vehicle that can adapt to any situation the battlefield presents. It can hold both positions and attack. Fire accurately from long range and let rip an 800 HP kaboom. The can opener is about big emotions and combat performance. All vehicles should be exciting to research, not just new ones. And that's why our work continues on the Tier 10s you know and love and their branches. This rebalance is going to be a heavyweight. The E100 is a decent enough tank, but a little update won't hurt it. The turret front is now stronger, and its rotation speed has increased. The 12.8 centimeter mouse gun has been improved with less dispersion and better penetration with the standard shell. The Type 71 has gotten a bigger overhaul. It was impressive on launch, but not powerful enough to face off against meta vehicles. Well, it is now. This heavy samurai's katana play is now more precise, and it moves around the battlefield faster. Plus, the upper glacial plate is far sturdier now. The M5Y has received similar treatment. To make it more competitive, we made its alternative 120mm gun better, a lot better. Now, both guns command respect. The maximum gun depression is greater too, at 12 degrees against the former 10. That's right, just like the Kranvan. Balancing isn't just about improvements. For a long time, the 60TP was one of the best vehicles at Tier 10. Simple, comfortable, and a nasty opponent. Now you'll find the 60 TP a little easier to play against, since it's lost some loading speed and HP and has greater dispersion. At the same time, the Polish Hussar keeps its concept and will pretty much be as effective as before. Alongside this, the Tier 8 and 9 tanks in the same branch have gotten better. Besides the reworked Tier 10s, the tanks below them have been revised too. Many of them have gotten changes to match the top vehicles. Researching is simpler for all 4 branches, especially that of the E100. You'll find fewer modules, for example. Only the top radios are left. Many stock modules are markedly better. The research process will be more enjoyable. The E100, the Type 71, the Yo, or the can opener. Which do you think will be the best in Onslaught? The new Onslaught season brings the same much-loved competitive battles, with a few improvements. The 5 weekly missions no longer expire at the end of the week, but remain available until the season finishes. You can complete them later and play at your own pace, but try not to leave them all to the last minute. Instead of increased shell resistance, completing all missions will get you a token that you can exchange for any improved equipment. The team lists now have more info. You still won't be able to see unspotted enemy vehicles, but now you can see players' names, platoons, and ranks. All this info is available both during battle and before it, on the loading screen and during pre-battle prep. Redshire has been removed from the Onslaught maps. Tundra and Prohorovka have been added. And the latter has changed notably for the mode. Countryside engagements are going to be heated. Outpost now has more cover, and some of the points of interest have moved. We've also rebalanced the role skills. You can see a full list of the changes in the article on the game portal. It's now far simpler to assemble platoons in Onslaught. Instead of rating points, the game now checks players' ranks. You can invite a player 1 rank higher or lower than you to join a platoon. For super platoons of 7 players, a difference of 2 ranks either way applies. Incidentally, it's now a little easier to reach the highest rank. Now, not just 10, but a whole 15% of players on the leaderboard are legends. After battles, don't forget to claim your rewards. The banner in the in-game store will remind you. It will take you directly to the Onslaught shop. Fight in this season to get closer to the annual reward, the Stinger. You can only get it in Onslaught, so make sure your Tier 10s are ready. If you don't have many, use this season's rental vehicles, the T110 E5, Centurion Action X, and Bliskavica. Happy onslaughtering. Now you can roll out even faster. Crafty caching algorithms get the game to load quicker. The effect will be most obvious on low-spec gear and PCs with SSD drives. In any case, now you can dive into the game faster, and after the battle, give it a rating. Now you can rate each of your battles so we can find out what you thought of them. Collecting a large amount of this data will help us make the game better in future. You can give a rating after your vehicle is destroyed or on the battle results screen, but be aware that you can't leave a rating for battles that already took place in the past. Win and hit the like button for a satisfying brawl, and for this video too. Don't miss the time-limited Battle Pass chapter dedicated to our new collaboration. A real action movie with jungles, awesome characters, and of course, a new premium tank awaits. Soon. A little after the update launches, you can relax properly in Winter Arcade. We have 3 whole installments to come. The first 2 let you have a snowball fight, launching shells into your opponent's hood. At the same time, we'll have an ice rink where you can show off your winter tank drifting skills. The third installment has railguns that let you do some savage shooting on the move. And there's also element of surprise, where you'll need to accurately calculate probabilities. But who are we kidding? We'll be hoping for some good luck. The Lunar New Year is on the horizon. The start of the Year of the Snake will gift you exciting and rewarding activities. Keep your finger on the pulse and turn on notifications for this channel so you don't miss a thing. Good luck researching the new branch, playing Onslaught and Winter Arcade, and expanding your garage. The new Onslaught season brings the same much-loved competitive battles, with a few improvements. The 5 weekly missions no longer expire at the end of the week, but remain available until the season finishes. You can complete them later and play at your own pace, but try not to leave them all to the last minute. Instead of increased shell resistance, completing all missions will get you a token that you can exchange for any improved equipment. The team lists now have more info. You still won't be able to see unspotted enemy vehicles, but now you can see players' names, platoons, and ranks. All this info is available both during battle and before it, on the loading screen and during pre-battle prep. Redshire has been removed from the Onslaught maps. Tundra and Prokhorovka have been added. And the latter has changed notably for the mode. Countryside engagements are going to be heated. Outpost now has more cover, and some of the points of interest have moved. We've also rebalanced the role skills. You can see a full list of the changes in the article on the game portal. It's now far simpler to assemble platoons in Onslaught. Instead of rating points, the game now checks players' ranks. You can invite a player 1 rank higher or lower than you to join a platoon. For super platoons of 7 players, a difference of 2 ranks either way applies. Incidentally, it's now a little easier to reach the highest rank. Now, not just 10, but a whole 15% of players on the leaderboard are legends. After battles, don't forget to claim your rewards. The banner in the in-game store will remind you. It will take you directly to the Onslaught shop. Fight in this season to get closer to the annual reward, the Stinger. You can only get it in Onslaught, so make sure your Tier 10s are ready. If you don't have many, use this season's rental vehicles, the T110 E5, Centurion Action X, and Bliskavica. Happy onslaughtering. Lunar New Year is coming. Exploding fireworks and thousands of lanterns light up tankers' garages. The Wood Snake is going to bring everyone joy, presents, and red envelopes. Join the fun from January 28th through February 12th. The festive magic is right in the game, and the Wood Snake offers you to play its game. Complete the missions to earn stamps, and then use them to open new segments. You'll get rewards for each one. Many segments contain red envelopes. Each envelope equals a stacking discount of 600 gold. The more you collect, the more you'll save. Once you collect all the envelopes, you'll get a discount of 3,600 gold. Impressive, eh? But you're probably already asking, a discount for what? That's for the cat to answer. Your furry friend sells special festive bundles to use your discount on. You'll find a crew book, 6 months of World of Tanks premium account, and of course, premium vehicles. For example, the Type 63. The envelopes will help you get all this goodness a lot cheaper, and they can make the Panzer IV Schmalturm completely free. Each offer is available to purchase only once, so it's best to collect the maximum discount first, and then go shopping. The cat doesn't just sell handy stuff, he gives it away too. He will regularly give you a few stamps, which you need to open new snake segments. Keep an eye on the timer to see when to pay the puss a visit. And don't forget to complete the Snake's missions. That way, you will easily progress through all the stages and be delighted by a nice surprise. It will make your Lunar New Year truly special. More on that in the next video. Ring in the Year of the Wood Snake with light, joy, and World of Tanks. Happy holiday! We had a rip-roaring good Christmas and New Year. But winter is about to get twice as exciting. This update brings a new twin-barreled tank branch, crucial rebalances, fun-filled celebrations, and glorious rewards. But first, a reminder about Battle Journey. If you still haven't checked your achievements from 2024, now's the time. You'll get all the juicy details about your tanking career, which you can share with friends. It's a good idea to ponder the past if you want to prepare for a prosperous future. And now, onto what that future has in store for you. Don't miss the new branch of British twin-barreled heavies. They're enticing, pretty powerful, and quite different from their Soviet double-barreled cousins. The latter have auto-reloaders, firing 2 shells one after the other. When both are reloaded, you can fire a salvo with a delay and a penalty afterward. British twin-barreled tanks are a different breed of cat. They're like 2 cyclic tanks in one. One with low alpha damage but good accuracy and mobility. The other with devastating damage but reduced speed and much wider dispersion, albeit with perfect stabilization. This means that in salvo mode, the aiming circle barely widens while moving or turning the turret. The salvo fires instantly, no need to spend time aiming or holding the necessary key. It takes 2 seconds to switch between modes after pressing X. You can switch on the move, for instance, when approaching an enemy. It's best to spend most of the battle in single fire mode, since you can move faster and fire accurately and effectively from long range. But when an enemy comes close, X, 2 seconds, left click. Remember that to fire, tanks from the new branch need to load both barrels. So, after a salvo, you'll have to wait through double loading even if you switch straight to single fire mode. Changing the shell type also means loading both barrels. All tanks in the new branch have this mechanic and general concept. But each has its own little quirks. Get to know them all and find new favorites, not just at Tier 10. But the main attraction is the can opener, which splits apart armor with salvos causing an average of 840 HP of damage. Its own thick armor lets it engage in duels and make the most of those salvos. Steel never fails. The gun depression is British. The mobility is typically heavy in single fire mode and super heavy in salvo mode. The can opener isn't just strong and reliable. It's a vehicle that can adapt to any situation the battlefield presents. It can hold both positions and attack. Fire accurately from long range and let rip an 800 HP kaboom. The can opener is about big emotions and combat performance. All vehicles should be exciting to research, not just new ones. And that's why our work continues on the Tier 10s you know and love and their branches. This rebalance is going to be a heavyweight. The E100 is a decent enough tank, but a little update won't hurt it. The turret front is now stronger, and its rotation speed has increased. The 12.8 centimeter mouse gun has been improved with less dispersion and better penetration with the standard shell. The Type 71 has gotten a bigger overhaul. It was impressive on launch, but not powerful enough to face off against meta vehicles. Well, it is now. This heavy samurai's katana play is now more precise, and it moves around the battlefield faster. Plus, the upper glacial plate is far sturdier now. The M5Y has received similar treatment. To make it more competitive, we made its alternative 120mm gun better, a lot better. Now, both guns command respect. The maximum gun depression is greater too, at 12 degrees against the former 10. That's right, just like the Kranvan. Balancing isn't just about improvements. For a long time, the 60TP was one of the best vehicles at Tier 10. Simple, comfortable, and a nasty opponent. Now, you'll find the 60TP a little easier to play against, since it's lost some loading speed and HP and has greater dispersion. At the same time, the Polish Hussar keeps its concept and will pretty much be as effective as before. Alongside this, the Tier 8 and 9 tanks in the same branch have gotten better. Besides the reworked Tier 10s, the tanks below them have been revised too. Many of them have gotten changes to match the top vehicles. Researching is simpler for all 4 branches, especially that of the E100. You'll find fewer modules, for example. Only the top radios are left. Many stock modules are markedly better. The research process will be more enjoyable. The E100, the Type 71, the Yo, or the can opener. Which do you think will be the best in Onslaught? The new Onslaught season brings the same much-loved competitive battles, with a few improvements. The 5 weekly missions no longer expire at the end of the week, but remain available until the season finishes. You can complete them later and play at your own pace, but try not to leave them all to the last minute. Instead of increased shell resistance, completing all missions will get you a token that you can exchange for any improved equipment. The team lists now have more info. You still won't be able to see unspotted enemy vehicles, but now you can see players' names, platoons, and ranks. All this info is available both during battle and before it, on the loading screen and during pre-battle prep. Redshire has been removed from the Onslaught maps. Tundra and Prokhorovka have been added. And the latter has changed notably for the mode. Countryside engagements are going to be heated. Outpost now has more cover, and some of
winners, your Onslaught Legends Series champions will be Cashback.
Mafia are your Fragstore Winter Invitational champions. They take it
2024 and the old champion, it is the new champion. Hit and run, the trophy goes. They've done it. Are united in
Well, hello there, and welcome back. Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 is starting today, and of course, I wouldn't want to do it without beautiful Ducky beside me. How are you doing?
I'm doing just great, Kihan. I'm so glad to be here with you and all of our lovely viewers in the chat as well. Season 2, yeah, we've had Season 1. There's another episode coming out, Season 2. Can the teams from last season repeat their performances, or can they step it up? That is the question, of course. That is going to be the story. But first, looking at the schedule, we're going to be very similar to last season altogether. So we have the Thursday stream, the Sunday stream, and then from next week we have Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays, and we have, of course, some NA in there as well. You can see that on the 22nd and the 23rd, where we have the grand finals, of course, from both the OLS and the OLF.
Exactly. That being said, obviously, there is a prize pools as well, and the EU one is currently increasing still. I believe we're above 60,000 already. I think we should be seeing that soon. But yeah, the important thing to mention is that, yes, we do have teams that we did see last season, but also some newcomers, and of course, all of those will be playing today. Talking about the newcomers, Daki, what are you? Or first of all, let's obviously look at the calendar here as well. Every single OLS stream that you're gonna see is going to have tokens included into it, and obviously you will need to head in-game into the OLS token store where you can spend all of them on the goodies that you want. Additionally, today, because it's the kickoff stream, you'll be able to earn 1 guaranteed day of World of Tanks Premium, as well as rental vehicles. But first of all, obviously, in the token store, you can get some neat 2D styles. You can get Days of the World of Tanks Premium as well, or experimental reserves, or consumables as well, together with, you know, some pretty neat 3D styles as well, and even a premium tank.
Which one
is possible to get.
What's the name of it?
I think that one's the Churchill one.
I have no clue. I don't play that tier, so that's why I asked you. But prize pool, Gian, if you can quickly remind me, last season we had, how much was it? Rough?
Last season, I believe like 65.5, something like this. And now we're already above 62k, and we haven't even started the event yet. And obviously, people will be able to buy bundles for quite some time to come. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to top what we had last season.
I double-checked right now. Last season, we had 65,924. So I'm pretty sure we're going to beat that. But of course, we have OLF as well, $15,000. We did change the split a little bit to reward third and fourth, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So last time, first one got 10k, second one got 5k. So this time the rewards go down until the fourth place as well. And this time around, we'll actually have a third place for both OLF and OLS. That is a change because the playoff bracket is going to be held in double elimination format. Sort of once again. So there are some slight changes as to what's going to happen. But for now and for today, nothing's really going to change. We are going to see all 8 teams that have managed to qualify for the OLS. And we are going to kick off with the winners of the last season. It's going to be Cashback against W.
Cashback against W is indeed a very interesting match because this W is a different W than we saw last season. I mean, it's also a match where, you know, Baby gets to prove himself. He switched from W to Cashback. He played with them already in the Frag Store Winter Invitational. So that's the addition there for the team of Cashback. But then when we look at this W lineup, it's a bit different than we saw before. I mean, we have Brainbreaker joining, we have Yoss joining, and who else? Was there anybody else? Am I missing someone else?
I mostly made notes as to who went away. Splatty, yeah, for example, as well. But yeah, Cashback, interestingly enough, they have opted. They are the only team in the OLS to only come with 8 players. So they didn't even pick a 9th one. So obviously, if they make it into those spots where, you know, prize money is involved, then they have to split with less people. But they'll also, you know, have to play more, each and every single one of them. That being said, they won't have to play too much today because phase 1 is going to be best of 5s all around. And it might be a quick one at that because we're going to be playing Westfield, Cliff, into possibly Moravanka. Those are some darn quick maps.
Yeah, this could be all over in 20 minutes, to be honest, if things go the way of either of the 2 teams. But yeah, coming back onto the topic of 8 players in the team instead of 9, if you have a solid 7 starting players, then you don't really need 9. If they are available, then your 8 is like the reserve that should always be able to play. The 9th is not really needed.
Talking about people, by the way, Brainbreaker coming in here. Also, we do now have the titles that each and every one of them has amassed displayed as well. So he has one 7v7 title that includes everything that happened, for example, during Onslaught Legends Cups, but it also includes 7v7 attack defense formats and obviously 15v15 titles as well, be it earned on like EU in the Clan Showdown format or other formats before that as well. So we're tracking all of those if they were organized by Wargaming officially. So that's a pretty neat stat, but like for Brainbreaker, this would indicate that he's super successful player, however, mostly in 15v15.
I mean, he's definitely been playing a lot of Onslaught. I've had him a lot in the queue as well, playing as K91, playing other tanks, so he's experienced in the mode. Of course, all these players can be found playing in the Onslaught mode quite often in different tanks, but Westfield, Keyhand, we did have, of course, and we didn't talk about it that much, we had some changes to the abilities coming into this season, however, probably not enough to really shake up the meta too much, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. Like the Juggernaut, for example, for the TDs that were very prevalent during Season 1 has been, tuned down a little bit. Is it going to be enough for people to switch away from that? That's going to be the question. And also, I believe the light tank ability, most notably, was touched a little bit. Like the cooldown at the start of the battle was lengthened, but you get more.
Honestly,
like,
I think the ability is better.
Yeah, arguably, it's better. But it's
you have less.
let's say
you have less info in the beginning, to be honest, than before, because people can dodge even more. You have less info, but easier planes throughout the battle itself. So it's like for random onslaught, it's definitely improved the ability itself.
Yep. Is it going to have a big impact in competitive, though? Here is the question. But I think we're just about ready to kick off Onslaught Legends Series Season 2, and W are taking on the reigning champion. W coming in with a double bat, Centurion Action X, triple Briska, and Clorf playing the Tessak. All right, on Westfield.
Cashback, then Baby and a Strasti AX. 4 Bliskovitzes behind it. Barbarian in the first B. Liberty. Who else in the Shem Panzerwagen? Yeah, the face-off between RHM and Tessak, of course. RHM single shooting. Tessak better for tracking those pesky TDs, but less damage output normally.
Well, let's see. Both of the teams splitting up here. Brainbreaker with that Batchat is going to secure the Northwestern strike for his team, but it seems like Cashback, on the other hand, have quite a different approach to the team. Liberty already able to force back Jakafar, Ios, and Clorf. Sees them on the rotation, puts the first shot of damage in. Cashback did start with a little bit more HP to begin with, and Barbarian is going to get the first strike.
Liberty, in the meantime, moving towards the other strike. Brainbreaker picking up the info on the top of your screen. Of course, that is able to spot anybody on the enemy team. But so far, no cap pressure from W just yet. Cashback has taken the strikes. Liberty's taken the second one. Klurf is on the prowl here, though, in his Tessak, with a Batcha behind him, and possibly Brainbreaker joining him as well through the A-line. But it's normally you see the camp come out quite early, but in this case it's not. Splatty will block, Iset will be on the other end. And now you can see the grouping, though, from Cashback back towards the 2-line. They seem to smell that something is up here, that something is about to happen, and they are making a brilliant move right now if you look at the minimap. But look at W in return, Kihan. They seem to be evacuating the AO in very quick fashion as well, but they do not have any strikes.
They don't have any strikes currently, and still a lot of cooldown left on both of the strikes on the lower side of Westfield. And now we see a lot of tanks actually by Cashback in that cap. Obviously, more than 3 doesn't really matter, because 3 is the biggest number that you can get. Now we have to check, do any of the W tanks have baby strikes available? I don't think they do as well. So there needs to be the block. HE coming out from Jakafar, but he actually pays hugely with HP as the cap goes down to 4 seconds. Are they going to be able to reset is the question. No, Splatty has to commit now, but ooh, last second reset.
Yeah, last second reset, but the damage has been dealt in the meantime, and here comes the push off on both sides, on towards Splatty, on towards Frugo. They know that they have the overmatch. Frugo's the first one down. Splatty will not live much longer, and so starts the train rolling from Cashback. They get 1, they get 2 in a mere second. Splatty to the grave. Jakefa already down low from having to get that reset, will get picked up by a little, and W in battle number 1, getting schooled a little bit by Cashback on speed of rotations.
Absolutely, Cashback just that little bit faster on the rotations, and now it's cleanup operation, mop-up crew time for Liberty, who should probably be able to pick up Brainbreaker, who's down towards the grave as we speak. Clorf trying to dodge, trying to weave, but it's not gonna be enough. Cashback, the reigning champions, are going to pick up round number 1.
Yeah, really interesting rotation that's from both teams. You know, like you saw W trying to rotate across the A-line, but that rotation takes a lot longer with that bad shot and then the sack and the other bat from below than it does for Cashback to group up gather up the forces, take everybody, simply go for the cap. And the funny thing is, of course, if you cap at 7 people, Keyhand, every person on the cap, at least if I remember the system right, accumulates a little bit of cap points. So if you cap it more than 3, it technically doesn't do anything. It just gives other people cap points. But that does mean that the people that W reset initially had like 2 cap points each at best, while the bulk of them was still on the other 5 members hiding in the cap. And of course there was no strikes because Cashback picked us up in the beginning. So, I mean, for them, you know, they did like 2k damage, I think, on the first reset, and then you're forced in with Bliskavice of Splady and Frugo, and you're still out of position with the Tasaka, the double bats. It's an easy repush from Cashback at that point, but they enabled themselves to be in that position by just smelling out that W was rotating. So really good stuff there from Cashback.
Absolutely. I think they kind of caught W with their pants down even. It just seemed like the rotation was so much quicker, and WDabelyoo actually, against his former teammates, is once again top of the leaderboard. Then again, obviously, the Centurion Action X is just one of those tanks that is supposed to like bait both the enemy and his own team into staying alive the longest and being able to do huge amounts of damage with the DPM that then comes in. So game number 1 here, Cashback taking a quick round, and they kind of make it look easy. Then again, I think that is like one of the trademark signs of those really great teams, is that they, you know, pull off those wins that make it look easy, but it certainly isn't while playing it. It's just that so much coordination and timing goes right that it looks really, really, yeah, it looks easy, but it isn't.
It was very counterclockwise rotation from both these teams, but it was good. W tried, but Cashback was like, don't worry, we know. I mean, it's not 100% easy to tell, but it's also, if they're not capping, they're doing something, because normally the traditional play would be to put 3 guys on the cap. You then bait the strikes out on individual members of the team to then force somebody to come to the cap, after which you overpush. That wasn't happening. W's definitely been in the kitchen a little bit, and they're still switching around, but still not the most common lineup. E100, Mivi, Bliskavice, Forshby, STRV, EBR, and an RHM.
Yeah, exactly. The MVY, not a tank you would normally expect to see on Westfield, but obviously that one was adjusted as well. A little bit more gun depression, I believe, on the small gun to go with it, so might be very, very usable now on Westfield. I think what we saw it on before was like Studzianki, where, you know, it was sort of kind of used to hold north, but let's see how it goes against, well, actually 2 lineups that are very, very different from each other. Like Cashback going a little bit for the brute force approach together with the triple batcher, just want to overwhelm. I think W, they want to hold. They have that double light tank with a single EBR as well, and they have an STRV. That normally indicates that they want to play the long game.
The long game, but at the same time with that STRV, you have to be careful from not getting him spotted the whole time. So, because of the planes, of course. But yeah, this is a bit to do with, of course, the ability changes, right, Kihan? Well, we have a moment where not too much is happening. The Batshot ability got buffed. It starts with level 1 now in the beginning of the battle, compared to before where it didn't have any charge, which gives it that more firepower right in the beginning of the battle, because you are reloaded quicker, which means you can fight quicker. Changes a lot on a lot of maps. That's why Batshot is very, very meta right now, at least in the random onslaught queue. The EBR ability also got buffed. I think it also starts at a higher level now, and the ability itself got buffed, right? Like the stats of it. So there's that. E100 turret got buffed a little bit, right? Maybe that plays into effect. And of course the Mivi was buffed as well.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of like fine tuning, I would say, going on. That obviously, like, you have those things that affect everything, like E100 buff, MVY buff, but you also have the Onslaught specific changes that happen on top of it as well. But now, as we keep yapping on about changes here, what doesn't change to game number 1 is that Cashback is actually capping again here. They're doing that with triple batchat. 2 of them are spotted currently, 6 seconds to go. So now Jakifa with that Bliskavice trying to come in. He's very far from the... Yeah, he's very far from where he is, from the red line, and the base does indeed get captured. Mistimed reset, or rather block attempt coming in, and Cashback, I mean, they don't really need to shoot at anyone. They just get the base cap off, and it's 2-0.
Pacifist award of the season goes to Cashback, killing their opponents with kindness, capping. Yeah, well, that's how it goes to 0. You can have all the cooking in the world in a strat. If you're not ready to decap or block the cap, then this happens. This is out position by somebody. In this case, maybe Chakifa was out of position, or he was put in the wrong position and they weren't able to block the cap. But the E100 is obviously never making that, so it has to be the Bliskavice. He needed like 2 seconds more to make it. The SRV can't hit it. They don't have any strikes. And yeah, I mean, Barbarian just, you know, the best, right? Can I get
Absolutely.
some votes in the chat for Barbarian? I mean, look at that. He did 606. He did more damage than his entire team combined. Let's just
Absolutely
give it up for Barbarian, guys. Unbelievable.
But yeah, obviously, I mean, the damage numbers are not going to be the greatest here. Got You Baby probably fuming a little bit because his DPG is going to go down with that one. But regardless, like, his team gets the points. So, I mean, Cashback must be a little bit weirded out by how easily this is going currently. Because, I mean, round number 1, W just got out-rotated. But here, round number 2, that was just blatant fail. Like, as much as it sounds harsh to say it, like, the second round, you should never get capped out like this. Maybe there was a bit of miscommunication going on as to who had resets available and who would go to, like, you know, block the cap. But the end result is what matters, and it didn't look good. Now, however, we are going to the map that W wanted to play, and that is Cliff. Keep in mind, Westfield was being picked by Cashback, so they definitely wanted to play this map here. They converted it 2-0, but now we're going to go into Cliff.
Cliff is also an interesting one, especially because you can dodge planes in the beginning. You can only get info on one side anymore. You can get all 7 if you're going fully mid, but if you're not going fully mid, it's kind of guessing what's going 1-2. Because with the plane, you can spot what's going middle, but you can't spot what's going 1-2. This leaves a little bit of like variety and room for surprises of lineups to come, of what can go 1-2 line. But outside of that, it's the same old trusty Cliff from last season.
Yeah, I mean,
outside of course the hill. Sorry for interrupting, but the hill has been changed.
The hill has been changed, but I think the biggest change is actually, like, not the hill itself, but once again, the fact that the Batchet ability now starts with a charge. So when teams want to, you know, pull off 1-2 strategies, then the Batchets are going to be up and available for fighting a lot sooner.
Indeed. The top of the hill, yeah, I mean, it's got changed because, of course, sometimes we have to facilitate. I think, is that the old or the new hill?
That should be the new one. Or?
I think it's the old one, but I'm not sure. Kihan should know since, you know, he made this beautiful map video that everybody loved him so much for, right, Kihan?
I mean, you know, maybe we can change my L3 at some point to not say, you know, like a competitive operations manager, but instead map guru.
Map guru.
Map guru.
Map guru. More like map terrorist, Kihan. Let's. Jesus. Map guru, man. Man literally made a pyramid scheme and is like complimenting. Insert Barack Obama meme, giving himself a medal, bro.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, you know, credit where
and
credit
here I was.
due.
Here I said before the stream, I'm gonna be nice to Kihan. I'm not gonna say anything mean, but then he says something like "Map Guru," and what are you? You can't just let it slide, you know. Like,
I mean, you know, when you said you were gonna be nice to me, I didn't believe you anyway. So
I didn't say it. I just thought it. Some words need to be not spoken, but I mean, Map Guru, Map Guru. Oh, yeah. Anyways, good to start the season off with a bang. Kihan telling some banger jokes as per usual. I don't think we'll see too many different lineups on Cliff, except for that the bat is, again, we talked about it. Cashback is bringing it as well in mass. They're bringing 5 of it, the T100 and BZ. The bat ability, it does change early fights.
Absolutely. The fact that you're able to essentially have the full clip available now after 20 seconds is huge, especially on Cliff. And like the thing is, with the Batchet, theoretically, if you know, do your shots of damage, then you never run out of ability. Like, you're essentially a perma-loaded autoloader that sometimes has to wait like 10 seconds in between the clips, but that's kind of it. So let's see how this one is going to stack up against each other. Both teams with the light tank, namely W also with the gorilla as well. He does get spotted. So Jackifer, even though he's going to be sitting on the red line, the information about the gorilla is available. And also Cashback. Some of them got spotted, so they know that the 7th tank, the one that they don't know about, must be a light as well.
See, the gorilla might be able to cook here, and Cashback immediately crossing over, but en masse, Aka, baby, Barbarian as well. It's only Liberty left in the middle, and W is coming here with the double BZ. The gorilla is going to cover a little bit.
Oh, the plane.
Yeah.
Actually, really good plane coming out from W, so they do see the triple Batchat that's waiting for them here, and that is very, very healthy BZs, but probably not for long as the trap gets sprung. Barbarian driving in with a BZ of his own, and already Splatty down to the grave here. Iset taking large chunks of damage as well, but I think the damage on towards W has been done.
Yeah, especially because Splatty's already dead, and you talked about it beforehand. The ability of the Batchat turns it into an absolute DPM machine. They're already coming back off of reload. Itox is the second one on the chopping board. Frugo desperately trying to chase down Aka, but he says, not today, Frugo, as he does hit a banger shot there, I think, with Ichi. Tries to boost forward as well, but look at the HP, look at the positions. It's a common story on Cliff to get stuck on that 1 line, on that 2 line. It's the same story in randoms, Kihan, when you have so many tanks committed on that part of the map and no possibility to support your teammates on the upper side. You do usually end up losing, and losing is exactly what the doctor prescribed for W, as round 1 in the OLS season number 2 goes the way of Cashback against W in a convincing fashion as well, with a 3-0 that leaves no questions if Cashback is prepared for season 2.
Absolutely. The reigning champions here sweeping in, and with a clean sweep actually against W, with not a single round actually even having the potential of going W's way. So Clerf is going on 5 HP to extend the round a little bit more, but Liberty actually is going to close the coffin on towards W. 3-0 here. Absolute dominance from Cashback.
Yeah, I mean, they played it everything correctly. This felt extremely easy for them, especially the last round. It was like cross from the top, kill everything on the bottom. And then you have this Gorilla out of the game, you have this TVP out of this game, you have another Batchat at F1 out of the game. You have a BZ locked in the middle, and then of course, lineup against lineup, you mentioned the Batchat ability. When they get a full clip out, they're reloading in about, I think it's like 13 to 15 seconds. I can't remember from the top of my head, but if you know the BZ reloads for 650 alpha.
Yeah, that's about kind of the same thing, right?
Right. It's in the ballpark figure of 10 seconds plus. And then you look at the Batchat and it's like 5 times 390. You know, 3 BZs versus 3 Batchats. It doesn't look good for the Batchats, usually, for the BZs. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, they shoot with the BZ, Splatty does 0. And then the Batchats just get a clip, reload, and do it again. So lineup for lineup, I like Cashbacks more. I think W's could work if Cashback wasn't set up the way they were. But they were.
Yeah, and in the end, I think Cashback also, like, they really got the jump on towards some of the tanks that W had, like all those BZs, like they're very beefy, but if you have, you know, Batchats coming in, just focusing their fire well, then even the BZ that has like, I think 3k HP in Onslaught, even those start melding away.
I got a question. Were the bats spotted before Splatty pushed up or not? Because I felt like they were, and he pushed up, but could be mistiming there. To me, it looked like they were spotted already, and he still went to the corner, which is an error, if they were. Yeah. Because, I mean, if 3 Batchats, 2 BZs, simple math, right? So...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it looked like the rockets on the BZ were already activated before the information came in from the plane, which kind of makes it look super awkward then.
You can...
So what do you do?
You can dead stop with the BZ, though. I mean, you cannot reverse, but you can go to no speed. Yeah. And you can technically handbrake 180 degrees around the other way. This is a trick for like many players. If you want to control the BZ boosts more, handbrake is actually the only mechanic in the game that allows you to really change the direction where you're boosting to. So handbraking around is fully possible. Yeah. Tips and tricks.
But yeah, I think this concludes actually match number 1 here of the day. And to be honest, we said it might be a quick one, and turn out it was. Like, I think that was around about 20 minutes, and we are already done. So that means we'll, of course, be back with match number 2. But first of all, let's take a very quick look at the replays. Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 is here. And you can make it truly special for participants and yourself. Boost the prize pool by predicting with team bundles. If your team wins, you can upgrade the included style to a shiny golden version. Contribute now.
Great.
Well, hello, and here we are. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
I just wanted to say greatest sales pitch ever. I've never felt more convinced to buy a bundle in my life. Contribute now.
Contribute now.
You want an IMDb reference as well? OLS Season 2 trailer.
Yep. A featured voice actor, Keyhand. Absolutely. If you can make that happen, if you can like use your
Map Guru
contact. I think you're not going to let that one go.
Map Guru, man. Jesus.
But yeah, we are in for match number 2, and that one, as you can see above us, is going to be played in between a Dark Side and Hit. Why do you have your eyes closed? But yeah, anyway.
Don't worry, Kihan. There was just a minuscule technical difficulty for a second.
You looked very peaceful on the screen. That's all I can say.
I was frozen, perplexed.
But yeah, Darkside against Hit. Now, Darkside is a team that has rebranded. Last season, they were playing under the name of Solyanka. However, they have changed a little bit of the people in the roster. They have changed a lot when it comes to both logo and name, but still, well, with them, they are a Ukrainian team, and they didn't make it into the top 4, so in the playoffs last time. I think that is probably what they are aiming for this time, but, you know, the opponents that they're going up against today are probably not going to make it easy, because it is the back-to-back WCI champions. It is Hit and Run.
Yeah, and they have remerged again. The Polish super team is once again formed, once more. So the players from Lodis, formerly Storm, DJ, and Mineros have returned home to Hit and Run. Will the Polish version, Super Team version 2.0, be more successful than the last one? Because the last one was shaky, Kiant, to be honest. Hit and Run in Season 1 of OLS was also shaky. Solyanka had a great start. Former Darkside, formerly Solyanka, had a great start in the first few match days, but then fell off altogether. Now, for them, of course, the goal is to get top 4 this time. For Hit and Run, I mean, they want to continue winning WCI. You know, they were probably very happy with that.
Absolutely. And especially the way that Hit and Run, went through WCI, it was far from ensured even that they'd make it into the finals. Like, I think they went into the most tiebreakers played out of any team there. But yeah, first of all, the maps, we are once again going to start on Westfield to Cliff, but the tiebreaker would be Airfield. So there is not a whole lot that is going to change in terms of maps. Also very interesting to me that Hit and Run is banning out Himmelsdorf, because if you think back, like, Himmelsdorf actually was a map during WCI, which obviously Hit was preparing for. And so in theory, the teams that went there, Hit, the only remaining one from WCI coming back, they should have probably more training on Hit than anyone else in OLS. Yet they're opting into banning it out.
I mean, you have to play every map at every point anyways, Keyhand. Maybe you don't want to play a strong map, a super strong map against an opponent you consider weaker and keep it for later anyways, or you're just like feeling different maps, right? Gives us, Westfield and Cliff, it seems awfully familiar to me. I'm not sure about you, but like, I feel like we just had this.
Yeah. I think it is the same maps once again. Just by, how the teams picked and banned it. And also important to notice that the teams obviously didn't know what the other teams picked and banned, as they were doing it. So it's just a coincidence. But yeah, maybe we will see the same map, but possibly we'll see a different kind of playstyle coming out.
I mean, Westfield doesn't have that many different playstyles, though. I
mean, let's see. I would be very interested if one of the teams is going to go for MVY again. Because obviously, like, buffs like that will need some time to explore. All of us four actually going with the 3-1 here. So favoring Hit, obviously. I think that's fair to do. But we'll see. I think, like, Darkside, they are kind of a dark horse in that sense as well. As that we are not completely sure, I think, yet where to properly, like, place them in like the ranking, the tier list of the teams.
I mean, 3-1 is the kind of result you put if you really think it's going to be 3-0, but you don't have the balls to predict it. So
yeah,
let's see if that comes to be. Hit and Run, round number 1, a bad shot, 4 Biscuitzes, and double the sack.
Double Tessak is indeed a very, very interesting choice to make. On the other side, Darkside, they look kind of a bit more normal in the sense that we do see triple Briska, 1 Badger, an Udas, a Batchat, and an RHM. So the Udas, obviously same ability as the Sentei X that we saw before, obviously has more alpha, although the siege mode can be kind of annoying to use sometimes. Good TPM as well on that tank, so it's kind of like a give and take compared to a Sentei X. But let's see, opening-wise, where does the double Tessak go? Both of them are spotted, so the jig already up. Darkside have that information, and Shelby is immediately going to decide to not go for the information tower, because obviously he could get charged by one of those Tessaks even having loaded HE, and that would be detrimental. Information point now not getting taken here. I think there was a reset coming out on towards the Tessak that was trying to take it, but still Ketsai is going to get the RT strike.
Both RT strikes actually being taken for Hit and Run at the same time, so they are probably very happy with that. Double cap pressure, Monster I think is close enough, they're fully rotating now. But how do you utilize the double Tessak here in an effective fashion, Kian? Because we know that their damage output is not the greatest.
Let's see. Obviously the RHM cannot really properly like go aggressive because he always runs the risk of getting Tessaked. But now Hit and Run, they see that Darkside are clumped up around this cap here, and this is why we see DJ Monster and T-Sec coming closer now. The plane does go down from the team of Darkside. He misses the Tessak here now, but Ketsai is getting spotted, so this should mean in turn that Darkside know what's up here. Hit and Run are looking for the knockout punch up at the cap.
Re-pushing back in, but they're still very slow with that bad shot and the sacks that are now pushing through the B-line, and you can already see Darkseid swing on towards Panzer Fury and his Blitzkowitz. Badger coming in as well. Dreamer, the leading monster, out of the game, and now you can see the sacks, Gihan, they feel a little bit useless at this point. It's like, sure, they've got clips, sure, they can track the TDs, but who's going to do the damage? Xank takes a full-on Ketsai to the face, but look at the damage that Ketsai has taken in return as well. Shockrix will finally be the first one falling for Darkseid, but the middle of the map, this engagement here going the way of Darkseid altogether. That lighter lineup from Hit and Run really struggling against that Inspire boosted lineup of tank destroyers that Darkseid brought to battle number 1, and as a result, T-Sec will be the last person in this to consider how Hit and Run lost their first round of the Onslaught Legends Series Season 2.
Absolutely, and I think how Hit and Run actually lost this round is, well, to be honest, a little bit explained by the tanks that they picked. Like, yes, the Tessak can be a very, very potent tank, but, you know, at the end of the day, the damage output is lacking, yeah. I don't
know about
burst,
you, but were you a fan of that? Like, sure,
absolutely
you get
not.
double strike with re-pushing back in, but at the double to sack? I mean, I like 1 to sack, I really do. It's actually a very fun tank and Onslaught to play. But if you already lose one of your... Okay, like think about it this way. The bad shot doesn't really do much anymore against Blitzkowitz with abilities. It starts rolling like 290. It's very sad. Makes you cry, actually. So you already lost Monster in the Blitzka, who did 0, right? You have double to sack, who are not going to shoot the same target. Yeah? So who's going to do the damage?
I mean, the Blitzkowitzes were supposed to do the damage, but you can see really only T-Sec and Pan's Fury doing above 3k here, and below that, I mean, you see the T-Saks coming in, but realistically, the damage output that they do have is, you know, mediocre, I think is a good word to use here. And meanwhile, on the other side, all of the tanks of Darkseid really did have an impact at the end of the day. They were able to bring their guns into the fight. Whereas with Hit and Run, you have 2 tanks that are, I don't want to say useless, because I don't think a Tessak is ever really like completely useless, but the effectivity of double Tessak, I think it is right of us to question it.
I mean, if I remember well, Solyanka upset Hit and Run Season 1 as one of their first matches as well. Sometimes history does repeat itself, right?
Absolutely. I think Solyanka last season starting with a victory against Hit and Run was also very, very unexpected. But possibly we're going to see a repeat here. Also, it should be mentioned that there has been a slight adjustment to the rules of OLS as well. And that is that during Phase 1, if you actually manage to make it to tiebreaker but lose there, you're going to get a point for it. Obviously, that doesn't mean that we're going to see this today, but just, you know, additional info out there. Now, however, Hit and Run switching away from that double Tessak, it seems. Ketsai still is going to stay on light tank, however. He's going to play RHM. Then we have 1 Centurion, quadruple bat, and the BZ.
Darkseid in return, though, not changing really anything. Udes, Badger, 4 Blitzkas, and an RHM. I mean, I don't see a reason why it's not a bad lineup in any way, shape, or form. But I will say that, okay, what I think is a natural counter to the bad shot is Blitzkowitzes and those kind of TDs, though. Because, yeah, you can track them, but you need like 3 bad shots almost to kill 1 Blitzka. No, you do need 3 bad shots to kill 1 Blitzka. Luckily for Hit and Run, they have, 4 of them.
Yeah, still, I mean, the very powerful damage output that the Batchat has, getting mitigated in this way, could obviously be a problem for Hit and Run. That being said, information is not going to be a problem for them, as Ketsai with the Info Tower does get full information available. Pan's Fury is going to take the bottom strike here on Westfield, so for the time being, Hit and Run are not going to be in any danger of getting capped out. And now we see that hit squad of Batchat slowly transitioning forwards towards the information tower. that we do have in the southwestern area. We do see them encroaching around Hellmind, and now Franek, that is Minaros, for those who are wondering, does move past as well. DJ getting spotted by Hellmind as well, and T-Sec is behind them. A looming threat. Kitsang now being pulled as well, but good arty strike connecting on 2 tanks. That's 800 damage dealt.
Yeah, now Kitsang seems in a little bit of no man's land in his Udes. He pushed forward, but now I think he realizes that he's in trouble. Thrash Panda immediately reacts, retaliating with a push of his own across the open in that Bliskavice. And you can see Franek trying to clip Dreamer pushing forward as well in his Bliska. Franek already taken 1-2 to the face. And now these bad shots with their quick mobility have to disengage with Hellmine and Shelby waiting on the other angle. Franek down and out. First kill for Hellmine, who was ready and waiting. And you can see how much these bad shots really do struggle against this Bliskavice with its good mobility and his amazing alpha on close range engagements. The Bliskavice eats bad shots all day, every day, and Shokarix is very happy to meet his British fella in the AX because Badger normally beats the AX on hold down as well. Panzer Fury now coming in with his bad shots on the clip from behind, but you can see just how painful these Bliskavices are to those bad shots as Panzer Fury blows up. Monster joins him to the grave. They do find Vladi's slave, but the hit and run doesn't look like they came to play whatsoever today. So, I don't know, Kihan, about you, but this seems so far easy pickings for Darkside, who say thank you. We'll take 2, and hopefully we'll take 3 on Cliff after this, because this hit and run is cooking, but I'm not going to their restaurant. It's a 1-star review so far.
Absolutely. And no points to be gained for hit and run at this point in time. I mean, yes, they still have 3 tanks up and available, and Ketsai is once again taking the info tower, or at least it seemed like he was. Yeah, is it going to remedy the situation for hit and run? Probably not, because in 7v7, coming back 3 versus 6 is not something that usually happens. For that to happen, you would have to have a distinct HP advantage. With hit and run, obviously does not. And now I think Darkside are just trying to close out this game cleanly. They're, you know, trying to cross their T's, dot their I's. They're going to take a little bit of time to do it, but at this point in time, I have no doubt in my mind who is going to get this point here, the second one on Westfield. It's going to be Darkside. They're starting up triple cap. No strikes available for the team of hit and run. So they need to suicide in sooner rather than later, or, you know, they decide to not do that. But at the end of the day, good stuff here from Darkside on Westfield.
Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, but also, again, these lineups from hit and run, they probably work in training, but they're hard to execute, in my opinion, just because bad shots against Blitzguys is a hard engagement for any team. Same for hit and run, nonetheless. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I think hit and run kind of, you know, getting countered on lineup both times. And it's not like Darkside really, you know, outminded them completely. It's like they just picked the same thing essentially 2 times. And both of the approaches that hit and run took ended up, you know, getting hard countered by that. I mean, the double Tisak as well. Hit and run is a team that's known to experiment around, and they probably feel like, hey, in phase 1 here, we can do it, but it completely didn't work. So Darkside now on match point already, and hit and run, I mean, you said it. Whatever they're cooking currently, seems like the ingredients are a little bit spoiled.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't like it again. Maybe we're just like old and sour. It's possible, but they're overcooking a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they could still be experimenting, to be honest. It's a long season, right? Nobody likes losing, though, nonetheless. I mean, I would hope so. I don't think any of these teams really like losing. It's not fun, believe it or not. So, starting the season off like this, I mean, knowing hit and run, I don't think they're too happy about it. At least, I don't think they would be.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had the same situation like during WCI, where there were some previous score lines like in the group stage, and like if hit and run had theoretically lost a match, then, you know, the seeding for the next stage would have been different, and everyone was speculating like, hey, is hit and run gonna try and lose this match on purpose. Well, turns out the hit and run players don't like losing, as you said, and they ended up just winning it straight up. So they are definitely not going to be happy with what's happening here currently. What's going to happen as well, though, is we are going to switch on towards Cliff. That's going to be our second map. And we'll see once again if history repeats itself. Not only that, the first match also just was a quick and easy 3-0, but also that Darkside, or formerly Solyanka, would be able to get a victory against Hit and Run during Phase 1 of the OLS Season 2.
I mean, they would be very happy again. I just don't want them to fall into the same story like last time. Darkside started the season strong. They were in the top half of the teams, and then at the end they dropped out. And it wasn't even like they dropped. I think W's fate was decided on the last day, but for them the fate was sealed already 1 match day before or 2 match days before. So they really had a bad second half, like really bad.
Yeah, and for Hit and Run, it was obviously like the other way around. They started off really on, I guess, the wrong foot, but as the season progressed, they really improved. Like every single match they played, you could see that they were getting better.
Same for Cashback.
Yep. Yeah, Cashback also didn't start off too strong last season, but as it progressed, they became like a lot better. But obviously today, Cashback had the strongest start possible with the 3-0. So yeah, let's see. For the second time today, we see the intro video to Cliff, and I think sooner rather than later, we should also see the lineup on that map. I mean, Hit and Run already in trouble here against the match points that Darkside will now have. For them, it's kind of do or die in this game already. For Darkside, they can, chill a little bit, maybe experiment, and that seems to be what's happening. Currently, sides here are wrong, but it seems like Hit and Run are going to go with double CS and 5 bad shots, and Darkside instead are going to experiment with 1 light tank, T100 actually being brought up by Shelby Walk.
T100 is actually a decent pick on Cliff, but Hit and Run bringing 5 bats and double CS. Pretty straightforward. The T100 can actually take the hill with taking less damage than, for example, an RHM because of that lower profile, so it is understandable. It's not a bad tank in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. Also, it seems like we are going to have our first restart of the season. So that's going to be that. But yeah, I think the lineup that Hit and Run has here, not sure if they're going to be able to change it, but right now it seems like Hit and Run stopped kind of, experimenting. Like we saw Double Tisak kind of out there, in my opinion, as a pick. Then second round on Westfield, we obviously saw just essentially bad shots getting countered by Briskavitsas. Now, however, bets seem to be off for Hit and Run. It's like, okay, trying to play something weird doesn't seem to work. Let's default back. Because double CS, 5 bad shots, yes, it is a very, very fast and aggressive lineup, but I think it is not a very experimental one, if that makes sense.
I mean, it should be a very simple and easy one to execute. You have 5 bats, 2 CSs, so you're going to probably end up pushing something, whether it's 1-2 straight, mid straight, or repushing. It's pretty simple. You don't have any stragglers in any capacity. All the tanks are roughly the same speed, while the Darkside lineup is a bit more. It's not as easy to repush with because different speeds, different timings, not as straightforward. But if they can get a good plane in the beginning, that already gives them a decent amount of info. It depends, of course, what Hit and Run wants to do. If Hit and Run also plays this lineup, if the plane here for Darkside will be very important because he can opt, right? He has the possibility to get the info on either 1-2 line or middle. I would say that in most cases the plane will go towards the middle, unless you're playing full 1-2. But then you would probably still put the plane towards the middle nonetheless, because then you get a replane. It's, because you need to hit 4. Before it was 5, I think, to hit a replane. Now you need to hit 4. So you're always most likely to get a secondary plane out of Planning the guys that are going up, so maybe it's not that much of a question actually, because having another plane is always very powerful. You can still check 1-2 with it.
I mean, the thing there is obviously always like, especially on Cliff, where realistically the opponent's team has like 2 options of where to go. Either you go 1-2 or you go middle, right? So what you don't see can actually also be information. So if you plane like middle and you see absolutely nothing going middle, then you know like, hey, they must be going 1-2 guys.
Yeah, they could also be camping 1-2 line, right? Map Guru?
I mean, like, Onslaught per se doesn't really lend itself to camping, because like the points of interest on the map just force you to be active. Otherwise you're going to lose map control, and over time you're going to lose the game, just because, you know, you hand the opponent so many resources to work with. So I don't think either of those teams are just going to camp 1-2 here.
I think a really important question, Kihan, is where is the Kihan to Legend stream that was promised last season?
That was maybe promised by you. It certainly wasn't promised by me.
I do believe that such a thing has been promised by you. I am certain we can provide some evidence supporting the matter.
AI is a hell of a tool, is what you're saying.
I'd be careful if I was you, Map Guru. I'm gonna send an anonymized letter to Victor Kisley with some evidence, you know.
I mean, he's not gonna say Map Guru, he's gonna say Mapu.
Yeah. Can they still switch the lineup, by the way? Like when...
I am not entirely sure if yes they can, because basically the thing is we're running the lineups currently in special battles. So whatever like the teams see right now, it's not.
I mean, even in training rooms, it's not final information. Just
exactly.
Just ready up your Yak Panzer and then switch. I had at least a few people that were like, I think in the draft tournament we recently played, they were like, guys, you're picking the wrong tanks, you know, in the garage. I'm like, my dude, you can switch in game. Relax. It's gonna be okay.
Yep.
How much Onslaught have you played though this season so far, Kian?
This season, I think like 30, 40 games, something like that.
He's so busy with his map guru responsibilities, competitive operations managers.
Man, I am juggling so many tasks.
Yeah, dude, you indeed look like you juggle really well, because most of the time you do remind me of you know what? I'm not gonna finish it. It starts with a C and ends on Laun.
Aha.
I mean, you said it. You said juggling. You know, like.
Well.
If you open yourself up.
There is so many ways we could take whatever is being said right now out of context. Anyway, to get back into the context of what's happening, I think the problems that we have seem to be solved, and this means that now we are going to be going into what might be the last round of the match already. Because hit and run on Westfield didn't look too strong, handing 2 quick rounds to Darkside, and now for them, if they want any points at all, they need to start winning.
That's true. If they don't win, the game is over.
Yep. And you know, I mean, hit and run. But
it would be really good though if you think about it for Darkside to win this. Like these early losses in the season always have some impact on the grand scheme of things at the end. You know, like at the end of the season, you're like, if only they beat Darkside in the first match of the season, they now wouldn't be dropping out of the top 2 or something like this. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, I mean, for Darkside, it's going to be very good as well, because they're going to start off strong against one of the perceived strong teams. And, you know, for them, that means maybe not completely expected points going on towards their account. So yeah, as we see, lineups have been switched now. Hit and run coming out with the good old trusty double TVP. However, last season already we had lingering doubts as to how effective that tank actually is. And for Darkside, we see double TD actually coming out with the Foshby and the Gorilla.
Hit and run, and in return though, quad BZ, double TVP and an RHM. So bit of a same story though. Still pretty easy to execute because BZs
yep.
go Uga.
Let's see. Obviously, the plane coming out by Darkseid, by Shelby Walk, he does get planed in return by Ketsai. He doesn't see a whole lot of tanks that were going towards the 1-2 line, though, and we can see the double TVP is going to set up shop in that 1-2 line. For now, they're not really seeing anyone. Shelby Walk does make it through, only takes 1 shot of damage. He's going to be happy about that.
1 shot to take the hill. That's why you picked the T100 at low profile. BZs are now reaching the middle. But look at how far back Darkseid is currently playing. I mean, they've taken the hill, but that's about it. Rise is now crossing over. He might take one from Tsek if he's unlucky, but Shelby has the hill. But how do they prevent the hill from being retaken? I mean, yeah, they have the gorilla, but is that enough?
That is a very good question. I mean, the plane currently in the middle for Darkseid is going to spot out the triple BZ-75. Ketsai in that RHM is going to get rotated towards the 1-2 line as well, where there is now a repush rolling in by Darkseid. Vladislav, the first one with that Force B, immediately takes a shot of damage by Monster, and Franek is also ready to receive, but that is a lot of HP rolling their way.
Yeah, but look at them. They're just pushing down on towards Ketsai in that RHM, and now from the top comes Hit and Run, but they're already taking damage on the crossing from the BZs. Vladislav is like, I'm okay, I'm out of here. But now the TVP is starting to rain on towards Dreamer's position, minus 1.3 in a mere seconds from that quick intra-clip medium tank. And now Fury, DJ, and Tsek arriving, but they're putting themselves not in the greatest position, Kihan, by trying to repush this here. I mean, Vladislav is waiting for this, so like they're gonna peek into this Force B, who's like the ideal tank. He's down to a one shot, he starts to heal off just in time. One more TVP shot comes in, but he's not dead. The second win, keeping him alive. And look at that heal back already to 900 HP. He's gonna take another TVP clip to be killed as DJ is pushing down. The Gorilla repositioning as well. They do find the Force B. They find the bad shot now as well. But the top of the hill being won. Mentos forced to the outside. Trash Panda might get 1 or 2 more shots. No, he doesn't. Gets picked up. So clean execute there at the end of the day for Hit and Run to pick up those kills. But now they are stuck on the lower side. But I think they can bully themselves back up, though.
Let's see what's going to happen. Obviously, only 4 tanks remaining here for the team of Darkseid, and one of those is the Gorilla that cannot really contribute in terms of like HP coming into the fight. That is 2.5k HP that are not really going to be usable. So the difference that we see right now in between Hit and Run and Darkseid doesn't really matter too much. That being said, the team...
K5 though, Kihan, think about it. Gorilla now repositioning to K5. He's going to be able to cover this push across, so he's not going to be that useless.
And indeed, he does pick up Mentos in that BZ-75, so a shot connecting here, removing one of the assets, crucially, on the upper side that Hit and Run had here. So all of a sudden, not looking that bad anymore for Darkseid.
That must have been a hell of a shot as well, looking at this, to be honest. Of course, the Gorilla ability, for those of you that don't know, it's like reduces the dispersion to what is 0.01, whatever the lowest value is almost. So, you know, he's chilling now in this position. They can't really contest him because they don't have angles on him, so he's able to play here just fine. Even if he gets played now by Ketsai, who we can see doesn't have a plane, he can just hide behind the corner. So he's under very little pressure, but he can also cover the cap, cover the cross, and this puts Darkseid in the prime position to actually pick up this round, to be honest.
Yep, and we can see DJ below 1000 HP. That means he's a one-shot for the ability boosted Gorilla Alpha, as well as we do see Franek and Monster now with those TVPs lining up, because there's only 6 seconds on the cap, but the strike actually does hold the cap here. So for now, for Hit and Run, defeat has been averted, but for how long is the question?
Well, one person capping is not enough pressure on this Hit and Run team to make them push across, because of course, if you look at the strike, the way it works, and how long it takes to take it back, it is also, I think, 1 minute 40 or a little bit less. So there's always a strike available to reset just one person. It's not a problem in that regard. Shelby might go hunting, though. If I was him, I would go hunting.
Indeed, and I mean, the information tower was popped as well, so Darkseid, they do know that there is no one really that can support Ketsai in that RHM Panzerwagen, and now Shelby Walk here with basically double the HP is going to start driving towards, and no, you cannot destroy that particular house, Shelby, but he's going to start driving towards the RHM. He does see him, but the shell goes wide, and this means that 17 seconds are now separating Darkseid from what would be, I think, kind of an upset here. The strike does connect once again. Hellmind this time taking the damage, I guess again, but now there's 2 people in the cap. Shelby might be about to boost this even.
I think, yeah, Shelby is actually going to boost. I thought he was going to drive back up on the hill, but you're right. He is boosting now, so 30 seconds. Look at the gorilla position, also very close. So now Hit and Run has to move in. Monster from one angle. Katsai coming behind him, but he will be not there to reset. Monster behind the bush, trying to find an angle. Good shot there from Hellmind on towards Franek, who's crossing over. The gorilla waiting as well. Gives him a shot. Franek down towards 600. One more BC will put him in the grave. DJ peeking as well. Takes one, but does get the reset. But look at Franek close to the rock. Tisek covering Hellmind peeking. That's not the greatest peek from Hellmind whatsoever. He got a little greedy. Xank to pick up the pieces in return, though. That's not the peak you wanted to see from Hellmind in that scenario. But they have so much extra HP that they're able to make a peak like that and still get away with it. Shelby needs to be careful with the driving there. Onslaught unflip does not exist here.
Onslaught on flip does not exist, but most importantly, he has been healed by one of the BZs, I guess, so he's not really going to be in any danger of dying towards a clip of the TVP here, as Ketsai, self-proclaimed best light tank player in the world, trying to do what he can to prevent Darkseid here from capping through, but Shelby once again has taken the hill. He has taken the information tower as well. Full info available.
I mean, it's just the same story now, no? The cap gets started. They can take the strike, which they did on DJ. It gets them one more reset, but they don't have the HP to hold this. And the gorilla of Xank seems to be going around the hill to pick up the strike, although it doesn't seem like he's the one that picks it up. It's going to be the BZ to cover and the gorilla to take the strike. I would guess something like this. Leaves Trions a little isolated in the middle. I understand why they're doing it. It's just committing 2 tanks to this is rough. Big Xank also is not aware of this, so they're gonna spot this out, and it will be on Hit and Run to make a move here. They have to.
Exactly, and once again, Darkseid do pop the information tower ability, so once again, they do have the full information where everyone from Hit and Run is, or at least was just seconds ago. Dryza now here smelling in the water that Monster is about to peak. The full clip does connect, so Monster with the ability should be able to reload soon, but he does go down towards 439. Ketsai also trying to do what he can. He's an HE one-shot here. Monster almost reloaded. Another shot connecting in towards the RHM, but Monster from the top side able to kill the BZ as Katsunk with the gorilla does finish off Ketsai, so it's 3 versus 3.
Yeah, Ketsai there, low HP. He took one from the T100, and then there was the finish. Monster now climbing the hill. Shelby, ooh, he's a one-clip. He is a one-clip now. I was going to say should win this 1v1, but now Monster comes up from behind, hits 1, hits 2. He needs 2 more to kill him. Shelby does seem to get out onto the slope there on 10 HP. Xang coming in to kill T-Sec. It should be clean, but it isn't. The strike being taken as well by DJ. Monster taking the info. They will try to kill off Shelby. And you know what that means, Kihan? Means that Darkseid needs to find another kill because of the way the rules work. There we go. DJ picks up the kill. And this was all very good from the side of Hit and Run. Xang spots out Monster. But now it's 2v2. Although damage dealt, Kihan, I don't think Hit and Run is winning there either.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because Katsunk is very, very healthy still.
I remembered the first rule, though. You know, like the first rule is who has more kills. The second rule is who's done more damage. I was like, first rule, Hit and Run's 2-2. And then I look at the HP and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to count the damage, of course. And the thing might be as well that... Well, first of all, there might be another kill happening, so let's not be too early here, but Darkseid actually did heal probably quite a bit of HP with those BZs, so we'll have to wait and see about that one as well.
So they Hit and Run, though. They had 4 of them.
Yeah, but now we do see DJ coming in with that BZ, and I mean, Katsunk at this point in time, he needs to go hunting because he knows that he's playing against 2 one-shots, and he has the strike as well to finish it off. So the people don't really need to expose either way, and I think, well, we might end up ending on the 2-2 alive, but let's see, as Katsunk is going to get very close, but he cannot even put the strike anymore. The shot does come in here, and
it's an extra
Katsunk doesn't even connect
but it's
anymore.
an extra shot of damage for Hit and Run. I don't think personally it's going to make the biggest difference because if I count correctly, there was 4 BZs for hit and run. There was only like 2 for Darkseid. They had a Krilla, they had Batchats, and yeah, the Force B healed, and yeah, the BZs healed. But if that compensates for having 4 BZs, like the whole lineup from Darkseid had less HP to begin with. You know what I mean? And they still did more damage. I don't think it will matter if my quick math is correct. I know the Force healed for at least like 1,000, so that makes me a bit scared.
I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. I think people are furiously calculating the numbers right now, but me obviously having access to the battle results already, I can tell you that Kitsunk actually had a banger of around 9.5k damage on him.
He would have done, almost 10k in OLS. I mean, nobody's gonna beat that anytime soon. 9.5k? Jesus.
Over 9.5k and 4 kills, and on the other side, Monster was cooking as well. Like, he had 6.8k almost, and 2 kills on him. So, yeah, that was 2 pretty crazy results coming out. But hopefully, we will actually know soon. Actually, and there is the confirmation. Darkseid actually won with more damage. We're going to give you the exact number soon, and this means that obviously Darkseid. 1 second.
I love seeing DJ in less superior graphics.
Yeah, this means that Darkseid is actually going to take the match.
Yeah, it's 3-0. It's 3-0. It was expected though. I mean, lineup for lineup, I probably was within 1,500 difference at best, but they had a way lighter lineup though. If you look at it,
But yeah, here you can see the battle results coming in, and my goodness. I mean, Kitsunk here, absolute stunner of around 13, 11, 10. But yeah, almost 10k. I think this is the highest damage across, both seasons now that we've ever seen, no?
Yeah, he definitely hit some bangers from the 2-line when they were trying to repush from hit and run side. So good position, Gorilla, good damage, then repositioned later as well. So, good stuff there from him altogether. And I don't think this will be beaten anytime soon, Kihan.
No.
I can actually tell you how close it was in a second. I busted out my own calculator. It really wasn't that close, by the way. Darkseid did, my calculator didn't lie, did 2,400 more damage than Hit and Run did in total. So. All
right. So it didn't even. Yeah, there we have it. Damage dealt by Darkseid, 24k to
2,400.
22.
I know how to type in some numbers on a calculator.
Absolutely.
Call me a math guru. Huh? We have a map guru and a math guru. Unbelievable.
But yeah, what does this mean? Like in the grander, the grander thing of the OLS, like hit once again, starting off really, really badly. I think. Wording it any other way after we just saw them lose clean 3-0 would be weird. And like Darkseid, good for them. They take down the WCI champions and they, get the maximum amount of points actually against a very good team. So that is already, setting themselves up in a very, very comfortable way for the things to come. But that being said and done, this concludes match number 2 for today, and we'll be, of course, back with the 3rd match, but we'll need a breather, so we'll be right back.
Ring in the year of the Wood Snake in World of Tanks. Prepare for a lively event. Complete the stages to get different rewards. Among them will be red envelopes, giving you gold discounts on unique offers. You can find them in the Magic Cats shop. This is your chance to score rare premium vehicles and handy resources at great prices. Celebrate Lunar New Year with your favorite game.
All right, and here we are once again back at it. And after 2 clean sweeps, 3-0 and 3-0, we are now in the match that I said even before the day, like, with this one, I'm really not sure how it's going to go.
I don't know if I want to root for signups or against signups. It's a conflicting story inside of my mind. Do we want signups to do well or not?
I mean, for his sake, obviously, but...
No, but do we?
For our sake of amusement, maybe not.
Some signups driving fails would be fun, you know?
Absolute cinema. But yeah, LTP, which is a team that has been playing for quite some time together, actually. Mostly French players. We can see them here, and, you know, Joy has even brought the baguette to show us where they're from. I think Ruev is Canadian, or he would probably prefer if I said that he's from Quebec. But yeah, mostly a team of Frenchies, and they're gonna take it up with the other new team, the other new kid on the block, and that is the team of Ping. They have some players that participated in OLS Season 1, but this is, once again, a Polish squad.
Yeah, full Polish squad, but you can see there some additions to this team, Kian. Miku, Lucky, and Click. Now, Miku and Click, they come from W.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you have Lucky, who comes from Storm. Yeah, just hard to remember the Polish shuffle every season, you know.
I think for him, the only way that I was able to remember it is that basically, you know, Storm had the white jerseys during WCI, and that was in the picture as well. So, yeah, community predictions this time around split a little bit more. Still, the advantage does go to LTP here. But I think that mostly comes from, you know, the way that people think about LTP. Like, yes, LTP actually did lose to Ping in the qualifications for Season 2 now. But that was while the FC for LTP, that's Aking, he wasn't available to play there. Then again, though, Ping, I mean, I would say they got some pretty good reinforcements on their roster since then. So I don't think it's quite understandable who should be the favorite here. And as we do see Like coming in, first tournament 2021 for him. So, I mean, quite recent comparing to other players as well. I mean, some of the ones playing today, like they played WGL even, like back in the day. So 2021 actually quite a recent addition to tournaments with 477 and 3 15v15 titles. So yeah, Like will be trying his best to do whatever he can, that his team is going to secure the first points today. And I guess finally we are going to see maps that are not called Westfield or Cliff.
No, Himmels and Ends being banned first to city maps, then Ghost Town into Studzianki, then ban until Muravanka. So, completely different set. I mean, Ghost Town is an interesting map. It's always fun to see it. I wonder if we're going to see more EBR on it, because EBR became more potent. But then again, Kihad, capping is also always a strategy. If you go too light, you run the risk of getting the lights out as the enemy team caps you with a heavy lineup.
Yep. That is always the kind of balance that you need to find on Ghost Town, is that you go, if you don't immediately go for cap, that you go pretty light, but not too light to not run the risk of the opponent just going for cap once again. Also, the fact that the two new teams are playing here now means that maybe a breath of fresh air in regards to like tactics. Maybe they'll bring out something that so far we haven't seen, maybe an approach to how Ghost Town or Studzianki are played that we haven't seen yet. It remains to be seen. And I think prediction-wise, I went with a 3-1 for LTP, but you can see all of us, we're pretty split here as to what's going to happen. It's anyone's guess, really.
I don't remember predicting 3-0 for Ping, but I'll go with it. I mean, I think I filled this out later than Kihan. I was like, you know what? Feelings aside, this is how it's going to end. Yeah, this is really all over the place. I mean, Kihan and Phil, who would be surprised that the German buddies would pull the same sheet? Crazy.
I mean, I was the first one putting in the prediction.
Yeah, but he's your boss, so he gets to decide whether you were first or not. Welcome to corporate America, Kihan.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, Ghost Town. Who was it picked by actually? LTP or Ping?
But you asked me the
LTP,
hard
but
questions.
Yeah, because you know the easy ones I know the answer to myself probably. That's why you only get the hard ones. Anyway, LTP coming into their first match of the OLS Season 2. They're going to bring out triple Batchat, 183W4 and an RHM. And on Ping, we have something completely novel as well.
A can opener. Double band, a Leo, a TVP, an RHM, and a T100. I mean, Kihan, please, as our fellow map guru, world expert, and competitive operations manager, if you could all just introduce us quickly to the newest vehicle introduced in World of Tanks in patch 1.27.1, the British double barrel heavy, the can opener.
I mean, I guess the main characteristics are the double shot and the turret here. The mobility not that great, but obviously the main quirk that the tank has is obviously being able to double shoot with no real penalties to like the what's it called, to the bloom of the reticule. So, but then again, it does get significantly worse accuracy when you actually activate both guns. That being said, Adamek is going to go in towards the outside strike here, while his buddy in the T100, so double light lineup by Ping coming out, does secure that no one else is on the field here as well. And indeed, both teams are kind of missing each other because LTP has gone for the Western approach, triple Batchat hit squad, but they're going to be running in towards the Leopard one and the double bat of Lucky and Adi here.
They're going to be spotted out in a second as well as Like picks up the info. Ooh, Lucky in the open. The timing there, minus 700, minus 1.5, 2k to the face. Oh, the timing, Kihan. Sometimes bad timing can also just really be bad, and this was the case. He should have waited for the info, though. I would say this is a player error.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to cross back over. Now, obviously, there is some information gained for Ping as well, but that was a very costly trade here. Just getting the info for that much HP. Now, David with the can opener trying to come in, but obviously he's going to be facing off against E3s, E4s, and yeah, the can opener has good armor, but against 375 pen of those APCR shells, even that one doesn't hold up.
I mean, they do have a strike available on Adamek, but they need to start retaking 1-2 line. They would have been able to do it already earlier if Lucky didn't lose all of his HP. So now they're going to be doing it. They're going to be making their move. They're going to be resetting there with the mini strikes. One on Joy, one on Algier. But it's actually currently, I think, Signups that carries all the cap points. He's really showing what he is best at. Sitting in the cap and getting those cap points. But he gets shot from behind by Miku, who's found an external angle. He spots out Nepal coming his way as well. And now Adi and Lucky overtaking 1-2 line together. Adamek taking another strike. At least Zitten did steal the one-on-one line before Ping was able to take it. But now Signups, Joy and Algier pushing on towards David. That can opener. 710 HP remaining. He does heal for a little bit and it's just enough to keep him alive on 57. But I think they have a strike available or not. They already used it. So David will survive. But Ping is currently bleeding quite heavily.
Absolutely. The can opener, they're down towards a slither of HP. And To be honest, actually, that camo reminds me a little bit of that ice cream, I think called Twister. But yeah, Synapse there with the first kill of the game. How much is he realistically going to bleed for? It doesn't seem like a whole lot. Activates the Juggernaut as well as able to back up even further. And now LTP obviously realizing that they have an advantage here are starting to press the issue. Adi might get caught out in that bat chat, immediately getting spotted here. I don't think he can really leave. But Noxious caught out in the open, does get tracked here, does get held. Had a rep kit down towards one shot. Another shot is needed to put him down, but none find the target.
Adamek and Miku now crossing over the K line as well. They will get spotted by DC Force, and Adamek in a little bit of trouble. Algier missing, I think, Synapse there connecting, so minus 700 on the Adamek, who is now getting into that K4 territory. Miku as well. I think this is too many tanks in one spot, but they find Joy, who's really out in no man's land, Keyhand. Not sure why Joy is there at this moment in time. I'm thinking about it, but look at him. He's in front of the buildings.
Yeah, he seems to be able to stay unspotted for now, which is obviously very good for him. Doesn't have the Juggernaut right now, so cannot mitigate any incoming damage. Does get spotted now, however. Is there anyone up and available to finish him off? Doesn't seem to be the case. And the HP advantage that LTP had, it has completely evaporated. Ping, actually, with the higher number there currently, but obviously not leading in the kill department, and LTP actually defaulting back in towards a cap strategy once again. Even Nepal with that RHM joining on towards the cap as well. Adamek seems to have a strike available right now, so not the biggest problem right now for the team of Ping, but they do need to spot the cap as Zeton whizzes through, does ram one of the pillars though of the construction building.
Oh, there's a reset there on towards Like. Miku will spot it out now. He does get a reset and he doesn't bleed that much for it. 700, but they need to put the strike now. Synapse and Algier were spotted out. Is the strike coming out? Will Miku do a last second decap? There is the reset again from Miku as well. Zitten dropping low, but these teams going blow for blow. Adamek finds the kill on towards Zitten. Good, clean pickup there. He does take some damage, but a kill is a kill. He finds a shot against Joy as well, so good stuff there. Joy now down towards a one shot, and you can see LTP slowly but surely, Kihan, find them running out of steam.
Yeah, exactly. The HP not really looking good on a lot of the tanks of LTP here. That is another strike in towards the cap as well. Algier down towards 460. Synapse taking one by the Leopard of Click as well. He's down towards a two-shot. And Ping, they do have 1.5k HP advantage at this point in time. And Ping, they just have better resources to deal with whatever's going on. Because look at the lineup of the remaining tanks. Yes, the can opener is gone, but they do have so many mediums and light tanks. And Ghost Town in the later stages of the game, they can be oh so useful.
Like finds Algier though in that TVP. So he finds a kill, Noxious a one shot across the A-Light. Conquistador trying to take the strike on the two line. But that strikey hand is not one that you can actually take realistically. Ooh, Click there gets a nice HG connection against Nepal. Pushes him back. Like finds another kill on towards Synapse. Conquistador finally gets something going the way of LTP. But this match is going exactly. Nice shot from Click again with HG. Well, I expected, Kihan. Just a bit of chaos amongst both sides is how I would describe this so far.
Yeah, a bit of chaos, a bit of overstepping even on either side. Like, I think Lucky, they're losing so much HP at the start was kind of unnecessary in the batch chat, and at the same time, like, the same happened to Noxious out in the open. Like, he just drove out there and took a lot of shots, not really anything happening in return. And now Ping, I mean, 5 tanks against 2. The strike does come out, it does hit Miku, but, you know, Ping has so much HP at this point in time to spare that it doesn't really matter a terrible lot. Because over time, they'll be winning, like taking the information tower as well. And the thing is, Noxious, he's down to 164. And as soon as they now pop the informational tower, they can just strike him as well, because Click has one.
Yeah, this round is kind of overkey. Normally speaking, are the I gotta ask again, are the strike icons now fully up to date, or do they still sometimes like to stay when a person no longer has it?
So looking at it right now, they probably still display, although now something gets used here.
Different observer.
Different observer. So I guess The only 2 strikes that we see right now are the one on Click and Miku, would be my guess. But the thing is, they can always generate new ones because they have so many points of information under their control. Noxious does get spotted out here as well, and immediately a strike comes down. He's going to get removed, leaving Conquistador in a most likely impossible 1v5.
I mean, if he does it, it would be amazing. But I don't think it's going to happen. So Ping do secure round number 1. I think it's fair to say that they will secure it. But it has been a pretty rough affair for both teams to get to this point.
Yeah. I mean, Conquistador here trying to do what he can. He finds another kill on the light tank, but obviously the cap is where it's at right now. And Ping, in their first match and the first round of their first match, are going to secure the first point for themselves here. So good job for the Polish team. It wasn't without issues. It wasn't without difficulties. There were a lot of like weird things happening, but I think at the end of the day, they were able to just, you know, keep the more important tanks alive and then win out on the abilities that the tank has. And I'm not even talking about the Onslaught abilities. I'm just talking about the fact that they were able to take so much control and information, actually, with the mediums and light tanks.
Kihan's so shocked from this round that even the hardware decides to just pop right out. Just giving up.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that real quick.
That's Kihan. Actually, those earbuds are not to hear the game. He's also Phil's bodyguard on the side, so he's just listening.
Yeah, obviously.
To what's happening as well. No, yeah, for Ping, I think the important part here is winning the round. Of course, it's for both these teams. It's the first match in OLS for the teams, right? And Ping, you know, sure they had some player transfer, but they were not that long ago, so they're still bonding and gelling together, I would say.
Integrating, maybe, would be a good word. I mean, the communication normally shouldn't be a big issue because, like, all of them are Polish. So my guess is that this would be the language of communication for them as well. And I mean, the can opener, did it really matter that it was a can opener there or a different tank? I don't think so. It's just one of the choices that would be available for such a position. But at the end of the day, I think Click with a nice carry here, 5.5k. Good stuff by him. Obviously nice HE shells on the light tank on the opposing team as well to boost that number up a little bit higher. But yeah, Ping taking down the first point, but I think there is room for improvement on both sides still.
But maybe we'll see a faster paced game in this. The last one was I'd say it was a game of mistakes almost. Who made more mistakes just ended up losing, and that was LTP, because you had that bad shot and that E4, if you remember.
Yep.
That was just too much to recover from, if we're being realistic about it. I still don't know how they ended up in those respective positions, but
it was a bad spot to end up in, is I think a very fair thing to say. Now, however, it's going to be very interesting because both LTP and Ping bring double light tanks, so RHM and T100LT. Maybe we will see some very, very explosive stuff immediately happening out on the field here in the 9-0 line. LTP together with that bring double bat chat, double E4, and 1E3.
For Ping, not really changing too much. I mean, again, the Kano opener, the double bat, the TVP, the Leo, the RHM, and the T100. That looks just about the same as round number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it looks very, very similar at least, and we'll see if Ping will actually be able to defend the 100% win rate that the can opener obviously now sits on. If they're able to keep that going, or if LTP are going to find a way in towards this match. And now on the 9-0 line, we do see Nepal once again opening up with that RHM, but he does get spotted by Miku. He is able to stay safe from the guns, though, and that is the most important thing. He obviously does get the information as well that there must be something on the field. David with the can opener, this time in a different position than last time, where he was sent close towards the cap, but already Algier pushing extremely aggressively with that E4, opening himself up possibly even towards Like.
Yeah, but at the same time, not too much happening. I mean, Like takes some damage, Click takes some damage, but across the board, no harm really done to either team just yet. The question is, can Nepal actually get out of there? Because if he can't, you really have that one light tank that's a little bit stuck. That's in a position... Okay, Adamek and Miko are way too close to each other. They just way too... You know what I mean? Like, one random plane and they're both dead.
Yep. But now Adamek does get spotted here. Does take a shot of damage as well, and completely everything towards the face. Nepal taking a shot of damage as well here, but he's able to pick up that RHM. And this means that all of a sudden Ping are going to be playing a man down. They don't really have a proper way to give spots on towards the light tank of Nepal as well, who opts against leaving here and click in that Leo 1. Does stay spotted as well, probably planed at this point in time. Zeton is now going to come a little bit closer with the bat shot as well, but currently LTP with the upper hand.
Adamek just got spotted by Nepal, by the way.
Yep.
Like,
I think he
I think
drove through the bush line and there probably was a gap.
I don't think he drove through the bush line all that well, to be honest. Miku is now, of course, very scared because I think Adamek gave fake info. What usually happens in a situation like this kind is some fake info coming out, where Adamek probably was like, oh, T100, T100, T100 in front of me, you know? And Miku assumes that the T100 is in the bush line, and it's like, well, I cannot go anymore. But that gives Click no room to play because Zitten is pushed up, and Zitten's behind him, and Zitten will kill him as well, off of this fake info. I mean, he's dead. Either way.
Should be another plane coming out, so he's gonna get respotted. Zeton with the last shot is gonna pick up Click, and just like that, it is 7 versus 5, and LTP still have 2 tanks, 2 light tanks available, most importantly, so they are not gonna give any openings towards Ping. Instead, they're starting to push Miku as well, spotted on the field here, and Zeton with that bat shot has reloaded. Long gone now the days where Miku could have survived this. He's gonna get down as well. Zeton here with another shot to finish it off, and now Ping certainly in an unrecoverable position.
If you've ever seen a throwaway round that you should forget about quickly, yeah, this was it. It's just like, just forget it ever happened if you're Ping, because it is usually not too fair to blame one player for the loss, but in this case, Adamek lost him the game.
Yeah, that was certainly not pretty for the team of Ping here, that actually get a 7-0'd. So not even a single kill coming out from them. Not that it matters for the scoreline of the match, but yeah, there was definitely a showcase by the team of LTP. Like, hey, if you give us this many openings, you know, we're gonna cleanly close it out. And also, Ducky, for the first time today, we have a match where both teams actually have a point.
Unbelievable. Same story as the first round, I would say. Again, it's a game of who makes less mistakes between these two, which is more common, not even like meant in a mean way, but like more common for the teams you expect to be more on the lower end of the ranking. Normally, there it's more about who makes less mistakes is able to win. Well, with the high ranked teams, it's usually like, okay, one team is just like really making that good plays that bring them across the board. So round 1 had some mistakes from like a bad T4 ending up in bad positions. Round 2, Adamek shouldn't really get spotted there. Does get spotted, probably gives fake info. His team gets paralyzed because of his loss and just dies.
Yep. And, you know, we're talking about making mistakes, etc. Sometimes one mistake can be already one too much, as we do see Adamek completely losing out here. His light tank body through not really the biggest fault of his own, only with 1 shot of damage as well. This time the cannon opener top of the board, but yeah, he was just, you know, one of the last tanks alive. And for the other team, I mean, Zeton there really performing, because he put himself into really the farming spot, mostly against that Leopard, then also against the T100 later. Good stuff by LTP, and overall this means that after Ghost Town, it's going to be 1-1 all even, so the next map we're headed to is going to be Studzianki.
Another slower map that can be played quickly. So what to expect here, if you never watched this before, this could be a slower game even with a Gorilla. where teams play for the long rotations, or you could see a more TD-orientated lineup that pressures the cap straight and forces the other team close for a fight. That is our two standard plays, I would say, right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. In come the lineups by either team, and for LTP, I mean, so far, so normal, so good. Double Bat Chat, Centurion AX together with a V4 and triple E4 ping, however, Ducky.
Double lined, a V4, double Yang, a Fushby, and a Bat. I mean, the double Yang, it's kind of cool, but I'm not always the biggest fan of it personally. You still have to hit the shot.
Yeah, and while, you know, the Jagdpanzer mitigates a lot of the, like, armor that things like E3s, V4s have, etc., the thing is, as soon as they have the ability active, all of a sudden, like, the very, very impressive 1050 alpha that the Jagdpanzer have turn more into, like, 700-800, and you still reload, like, 20 seconds for that. So we'll have to wait and see. Opening-wise, I think LTP with a more straightforward opening here. Ooh, Tankistador getting spotted out on the cross here. He is going to not lose HP because there was double Jagdpanzer actually aiming for him. And Adi with the first damage of the round against Nepal, who is going to be able to claim the strike.
Small victory for LTP, getting a small objective. Mati getting a shot from Tankistador as well. That's especially good because it gives Tankistador a vital ability tick, if you think about it. Ooh. Lucky there, not his game so far, Kihan. Taking a sucker punch to the face from multiple angles, and this is what we were talking about, or I mentioned in the beginning, right? Those TDs pressuring the cap to force the enemy close, and that's exactly what LTP is doing right now, and I think they will succeed at forcing at least some of these ping players close enough to where you can push them.
Exactly, we do now see the plane coming down, so at least info is available for ping, but the cap is actually very, very far gone here, 14 seconds, so there was a reset coming in, another one in towards Zeton, who is down towards 1200, and all of a sudden this cap play here needs to transition into pressure as Synops, the first one into the breach here against the Jagdpanzer, but only 500 because the damage reduction actually quite huge. Lucky though fending off himself, but Marty the first one to die. One of the Jagdpanzers already gone.
One of the Jagdpanzers down, and the bigger issue here for Ping, Kihan, I would say, is look at Adamek and Miku combined. They bring about a third of the HP that Ping has right now in the battle. As Adi falls, that's the second holding tank out. Like now coming in with his badge of 25T, trying to make a difference, but at T100 and the RHM, they will struggle. They don't have that Gorilla in this scenario to deliver those 1k alpha shots and even still 750 to one of those TDs. So right now, you know, like here on the outside, you would hope that somebody would punish, but there is no punish. There's nobody available on the team of Ping currently that's in a position to give anything. That's why you saw those teams play these kind of lineups with a Gorilla behind key to punish those kind of peaks towards the outside or towards the 6-7 line. But they don't have that, and LTP is taking full advantage of this, restarting the cap pressure as well, because they know they can, retaking their own base, and now, I mean, Adamek and Miku in those lights are not really going to have a way into this battle.
Yeah, and the thing is, right now on the minimap, you can also see that the Centurion Action X is actually driving around. Lucky being a one-shot in that Jagdpanzer E100 might just bite the dust, as Click is the only tank remaining now for the team of Ping close. He does get shut down, and all of a sudden, it's Adamek only remaining in that RHM, and LTP from being down 0-1 in the match are now going to go to match point in this best of 5 as Adamek bites the dust. The Frenchies are in prime position for netting themselves the first points in OLS Season 2.
I was really, really sleepy when I predicted 3-0 for Ping. I was so tired, Kihan. Man, I just remember I was like, I have to fill in my prediction or Kihan's going to punish me. So tired. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, LTP in prime position now.
Absolutely.
This was good for them. I think against a team like Ping, strategy like what LTP is using, it's probably very effective in a way, because you need to be like a really strong team IMO to be able to handle that kind of cap pressure. But I do really feel like Ping was missing that Gorilla. There's a reason. Storm played that strategy like 10 times in a row, but there was always a Gorilla. Because the grill is so good at punishing those overpeaks.
And the thing is also, like, you know, the grill is super mobile, so even if you don't find, like, the shots from somewhere on the map, you can always relocate. But yeah, as it turns out, the Jagdpanzer is not really a good replacement for that. Marty here with, well, I guess he did connect one shot and there was no damage reduction going on, but that is not really what you want to see. Like, the Jagdpanzers, they were thought to be sort of the, yeah, the rock against the waves of tanks approaching them onto, like, off from the cap. But instead, like, they lost a lot of HP already before, like, the E4 started marching forward already. And at that point, one of your primary advantages, which is sticking in the fight and taking punishment, like, that was completely impossible for at least one of the two Jagdpanzers at that point in time already.
Round 2 of Suchanki. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if we go to a tiebreaker here, but who knows? If I was LTP, I'd probably run something similar.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And like this past round here, I think LTP showed that, you know, they came prepared with a plan into the match. They executed, they adjusted a little bit when they saw, like, double Jagdpanzer. But like the adjustment on the fly was seemingly done well. So yeah, we are going to be seeing the lineups for the fourth and possibly last round with triple Batcha 25T, 1 Centurion Action X, 1 V4 and double E4 for LTP.
Ping on the other hand, RHM T100 and E3, triple V4 and a bat. So again, the double line versus zero line. Let's see if they can handle it this time around. Round 1 was not a success for them against this very light, a very heavy composition. Sorry, but maybe they've learned, Kian.
Maybe they've learned. No double Jagdpanzer, instead, you know, tripling down on those V4s here. That kind of fulfill, I guess, the same roles, or are supposed to, as the Jagdpanzers last round. So let's see what exactly is going to happen, and LTP, I think, unsurprisingly, are sending the E4s closer towards the cap. However, the Batchats directly in towards it. Zeton taking a lot of punishment, actually, here. A lot more than his buddy did last round for taking the strike. He's going to get it regardless, but this double Batchat play on towards the cap, not sure if I'm a fan.
Personally, I don't know. Batchats on the cap, never a true fan. They're already getting punished. Zitten as well, I mean, already below half. This time around, LTP seems a little bit more out of position. Kihan, Noxious coming in, taking a lot of damage as well. They're trying to push through, but this time around, though, Ping seems to have found the positions, the angles. The double strike's gonna hurt, though, to be honest. That's a lot of damage right there in those two strikes, but you can see that position where Adi is in, Kihan. It's a very defensive position where you can hold from pretty decently. They currently need that AX to take the B line to surround that E3 to get those extra angles. Aking bouncing, and now you can see Ping marching back into the middle of the map. I mean, they really need Tankistador. I'm out to pressure Lucky, but he's not doing that. They're just going for brute force here against those V4s, and I don't believe that that is the way forward.
I mean, Tankistador is able to take out clicks of one of the three V4s out of the fight for now. Synops peeking, does get the pickup on towards the second one, and Marty's still on reload. That's why he cannot finish off Tankistador. Lucky here fancying himself a bit of a peek, but finds Noxious as well in that Batchat. Synops now transitioning over. They somehow need to kill off that E3. They haven't really been able to deal with it so far, and Lucky, he has HP remaining as both of the Batchats from LTP in the middle of the map fall, and Ping find themselves with 3 tanks only, but a lot of HP.
Yeah, but again, a lot of it is on Adamek, though. Let's not count him out just yet. If Tankistador can get a cheeky shot here onto the side, and if he gets one more, Lucky is dead. Zitten's still surviving, taking a strike. Like has 5 shots, but he's being watched by Joy as well, and Synops will find the connection. The strike being taken by Zitten can finish him off. Adamek now finds, of course, the back end of Synops. Lucky finds the kill, but Lucky to the grave, to the strike. Like to the grave to our king, and somehow LTP turned this around. Do not think that this should ever slip out of the fingers, or between the fingers of Ping, but it has happened. And a good shot there from Tankistador on Adamek. Blind even, I think. as well. But Adamek here, I don't think he can get back in this. Technically, there's 3 one-shots, but, you know, with 12 seconds, Kihan,
Yeah, no, he needs to come somehow back into the cap and reset. He does find the kill on Tankistador, but obviously that makes his whereabouts known, and, well, he doesn't have a strike to really reach this, so LTP are going to beat Ping for their first OLS points here. Allez les Bleus! As they are going to be up there in the leaderboard together with the
Allez les
other 2
Bleus.
Pings.
Yes.
Allez les Bleus. I mean, you know, we're even wearing the correct color of shirt, both of us. We were just secretly cheering for LTP.
And to really celebrate, we should just rename the Juggernaut ability to Vivi Baguette, because we all know that it should be a French ability for the tank to go faster backwards. Right, Kian?
True, of course.
There's a reason why the EBR goes almost as fast backwards as it goes forwards, Kian. And it's not because it's a light tank.
I was, you know, trying to save all of those jokes
For next week?
You know, well, for like at least the whole of phase 1, but yeah, I see we're immediately starting off with it.
We
but
gotta
yeah, first of
enjoy
all,
them while they last, Kian. Who says they're making it to phase 2?
and, absolutely savage. But I agree with you nonetheless. But yeah, Ping with not the best start now for themselves here. I think it is still fair to say that LTP would be considered one of the easier opponents in like the complete roster of teams, but they're unable to get anything here because they didn't even get to tiebreaker. So 0 points still for Ping. They are going to be joining Hit and Run and W in that. Actually, they did at least get a round. So there is that, but obviously this is not the start that they hoped for. And I guess LTP, long-standing team and first time really on such a big stage for them. That's a perfect start.
Especially Kihand, because if you want to make it to the next stage as a team as LTP, which no offense is a team you expect on the more bottom end of the ranking, right? Then you need to be winning these kind of matches.
Yep. But yeah, overall, I think it became pretty clear that both of the teams that we just saw were the new additions to the OLS. But I think they also, both of them at least showed why they are here. Because yes, we did see mistakes getting made, but like they were also there to just exploit those. So good for them. But that actually concludes the 3rd out of the 4 matches. So I guess once again, we'll take a short breather. And when we're back, we're going to have one more best of 5 for you.
your winners, your Onslaught Legends Series champions will be Cashback.
Mafia are your Fragstore Winter Invitational champions. They take it
24 and the old champion, it is the new champion. Hit and run, the trophy goes. They've done it.
Are you united in
Well, hello there, and welcome back for the last and final time, at least today, because this is the last match we are going to spectate. It's going to be Bobbers against Mafia. Bobbers arguably with the coolest logo. Mafia also with a new logo coming in, but most of their players actually being the old roster. What's your take?
It's so hard not to swear with bobbers in the. If it slips, Gian, I'm very sorry, but it's so natural. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a hard one. Really.
I think actually, technically, with the new PEGI rating of World of Tanks, we would be allowed to say the K word.
Kokona?
That one also, yes. But yeah, Bobbers coming in here, and it's a team that, well, is kind of new coming into this one, although some of the faces are known already because some of the players have been playing the last season of OLS under the name of Conquest, and Radim still a Giga Chat.
I think it's because of the ankle, but Radim's head looks so out of proportion. I think it's because he leaned him back a little bit, you know?
Yeah, he's trying to make arms look bigger.
But in return makes his head look like very...
I mean, man, if I ever get into a fight on the street, I think out of all of the players in the OLS, that's the one I would pick to back me up. And there, on the other hand, we have the team lineup of Mafia coming in, a Polish squad as well. Some changes happening there as well. Józek, for example, formerly on the team of Storm for WCI, transitioning over towards Mafia now, so some reinforcements coming in.
Yeah, Józek couldn't handle playing with Storm anymore. He was like, he put me in a room with Jacob and let's see what happens.
But yeah, obviously quite a lot of accomplishments for him as well so far. 4 7v7 titles and 7 15v15 titles. A lot of them probably coming from the fact that, you know, he's one of those players of the Invil roster in the Clan Showdown events. But yeah, mainly Mouse, Batchat 25T, so either he plays tank role or damage dealer. Seems to be comfortable with both. When his team doesn't crumble around them, then he tends to be very, very vocal about that as well.
Not just vocal.
The poor desk, man.
Physical as well. Let's just say, if I had to describe my dear friend Józek, I would describe him as a very expressive personality. When he's angry, he truly is angry.
Mm-hmm. And when he's happy, he truly is happy. Let's see, though, which of the two emotions it's going to be today. If it is according to community predictions, then obviously the team of Mafia will take the victory here. I think that's pretty fair. Just because, you know, many players of Bobbers have been playing the last season of OLS, but then again, like, Conquest wasn't doing incredibly well.
The community prediction seems fair.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Bobbers do something miraculous to qualify? Am I remembering something wrong?
Well, they beat Lotus, so Storm.
Yes.
Where everyone thought, like, you know, Storm rebranding to Lotus, and then, you know, they are going to requalify anyway, but it was actually Bobbers taking the spot. Map-wise, well, one of the maps we're going to see, we did see already with Ghost Town, but first of all, we're going to start it off on Airfield, and Airfield, arguably right now, the slowest map in the pool, also the most technical one, I think.
To break, probably. There's the guerrilla play, which is pretty hard to counter, to be honest. Where you play with the guerrilla behind that covers the cap. Yeah, then Ghost Town, so it's potentially two really slow maps.
And then Ensk, I mean, possible tiebreaker. Ensk is normally like if you don't get the engagement like right at the start, at some point, usually sooner rather than later, you do get those, you know, heavy tanks brawling it out on Ensk. So action pre-programmed, but that only is if we get there. First of all, though, Boba's picking Airfield is very interesting in my opinion, because I think Mafia should be the favorites here, but Airfield is usually a map where strategy does matter a lot.
And it's mostly dependent on, like, Airfield can also be very quick if, and only if, I know the word is, you know, very repetitive, if both teams go for like a beeline fight or for a straight cap fight. If not, it's usually a pretty long affair. But I think teams have transitioned away from this heavy beeline presence, because at some point we saw like double bat, double like 277 and bat, EBR bat, any combination with like two tanks on the beeline, and at some point it's too much, you know. So people just went away from it. Oh my, these predictions are, whew, alle feini, Bobber.
And to be honest, for me, it's like you mentioned the case already. You pick like 3-1 because you don't have the balls to go 3-0. That's exactly what happened for me there. So all of us agreeing that Mafia should be vastly favored. Then again, we already had an upset today with whatever it was that we saw by hit and run. It certainly wasn't a lot. Maybe Bobbers can prove us wrong here. First of all, Mafia, though, coming into their first match of the Onslaught Legends Series Season 2 with double bat, 1 Briska, Mino, double E4, and the RHM.
RHM as well for Bobbers with double E4, the same, double Mino, but then they have the Gorilla and the Bat. So that Gorilla key hand, I already touched on it in the beginning, it has a really strong position from the side that it's being played. Better than the other side.
Let's see if Lemisandros is going to be able to hit a couple of those stunners that we saw earlier today already. I still can't quite wrap my head around the 9.5k game that we saw, but good planes coming out from either side. I think Boba's really only missing the information on one bat shot, and Mafia really only missing the information on a Mino. As YOLO now does get spotted in the RHM, takes a shot of damage by Didi to open up the round, and Yosi has to wait a little bit behind the stone here before he can try to go further on that beeline. So a singular bat shot being committed by both teams, and Mafia now sending their heavier tanks closer towards the Arty Strike on the CD line.
Well, you have the bat shot there from the... it's actually being played from the other side. Okay, but from this side I don't like the Gorilla that much, Kihan. I don't know about you.
I mean, obviously the balcony on the other side is like very powerful, and you can even transition in towards like B8, B9, B0 to have a different angle. First of all, the Yuzek has dropped down in towards the Arty Strike. We saw in the past that this position can be, you know, strong, but sometimes it can also bait the person that goes on the strike first because the other team just collapses. That's not going to be the case for now. Instead, he's just going to happily take the strike, hold on to it, and let the light tanks on the other side of the map do what they do best, which is take map control. YOLO has progressed a little further than Dady in that regard.
Yeah, but so far we haven't neither team really achieving too much yet. I mean,
both teams with a shot of damage. Arguably, I think the damage on the light tank more important than on the bat shot, but to be honest, that could also be like copium. So yeah, arguably both teams waiting for the other one to make a mistake, which is frequently the case on Airfield.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Like you talked about technical, it's pretty hard to break it open right now because every move you do on Airfield has a pretty straightforward counterplay to it. But you see some teams do, Kihan, which has potential, but Are they aware of the gorilla?
I think it was spotted at the beginning of the game. Like, one of the Minos wasn't, but the gorilla certainly was spotted. So they do know that somewhere around the map there is this 1k alpha threat that is just waiting, as Yosi is now going to take the strike by Yuzek, who correctly assumes that the Batchat could not really have left. He's going to take the second strike as well. Yosi now knows that the jig is up, converts into a little bit of damage, but this also reconfirms that, you know, he's actually still behind the stone, and he's going to take damage over the time.
It's fair. 5 more strikes to kill him, though.
5 more strikes to kill him, but then again, there is still 7 minutes to go. I'm not even sure if that is enough to, like, pick up 5 strikes. But over time, it is Mafia who deal guaranteed damage, and then with 7 tanks alive
If you're playing
on
this
either
game,
side,
yeah, then yes. If you're playing that game, that's right.
yeah. So I think it is more on Bobas as of now to start making move, because in the long game, if nothing happens, they're losing.
I don't think they're thinking about that just yet, though, Kian. It's very early to be considering what happens in a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you always have to be aware of the conditions that you find yourself in, but it's very early to start thinking about a draw. I like that they're using YOLO on the cap. What some teams do, Kihan, and if the gorilla has been spotted, then it's probably not something they can go for. It's like repressure B line while pressuring CD line at the same time and try and catch Yosi, for example, out of position, you know, behind that rock with your own guy crossing B line. But that's also not the easiest thing to achieve whatsoever.
Yep. I think right now, Yuzek still, no, he doesn't actually control the angle against the Batchat anymore, but Yosi lets one go against Orzek once again, connecting. But here comes the second strike on towards him. So he's going to be below 1600. But yeah, not really too much happening as of now, but I think Bobas are starting to look to collapse onto the Minotauro. The strike also does get reset, and now it's Mino against Mino here, so not the quickest game of intra-clip happening right now, both of them with damage reduction. Yuzek actually fluffing one against Radim, and from the sidelines in comes Tankalit, but Kono is able to clip as well, and now Mafia with the re-engage.
The re-engage. Who took the strike here, actually? It was the guys from Bobbers. I think it was Radim picking up the strike, so it was a good question to see what happens there. Radim picks up Yuzek, and that's first kill in the way for Bobbers. You would think that Mafia would be more prepared, Kihand, for this repush coming out, but they were caught off guard.
They were caught completely off guard on the wrong foot. Now they're not only down the tank, but also down 2k HP. And all of a sudden, this playing the long game with damage over time doesn't really matter as much anymore. YOLO, however, is going to be able to pick up the strike in the middle of the map. That's a little bit of utility to work with. However, I think Radim and Tankalit are pretty much stuck there because Kono can just control them and like deal too much damage if they try to leave. Like, he could even try to kill Tankalit if that were the case. But yeah, now the pressure is on for Mafia, who have started up the cap, but obviously with Radim sitting on a strike still, it's not too much of a problem as of now.
Also, I think YOLO did something very intelligent earlier. Remember when he went on the cap? I think he was generating some ability points to get a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, capping does generate ability points, if I'm not mistaken, even if it's only a little. But sometimes a little is enough to push you over the edge of where you need to be. And he got a plane out of that, but then they repush. I forgot about it, but I remembered at the end. They have an opportunity here to strike these guys, like double strike Tankalit and Radim, which they probably should go for, and then dump back in. Because right now, the cover is a bit lackluster, to say the least. And if Profuse could find Tankalit, Profuse takes all the damage for that though. The kill coming now, the IHM and the Bat crossing B-line. Conrad in as well behind Radim. YOLO crossing over to fight Yosi. This is a move from Mafia, a decisive one at that. They find one. Can they find another? It does look to be that way. Bobbers pulled out of position from that strike that YOLO took in the middle of the map. And now Yosi down, Elite down, and Radim down. They get 3 for that play, Kihan. And as much as we said Mafia was out of position to cover that repush, Bobbers falls for exactly the same thing.
Exactly. Once again, people getting baited in towards this strike here. Conrad, I'm not really sure if he can properly leave there as well. Marcel in a possible one-shot range for a 750 Alpha tank as well, as Flawless goes down towards one-shot. Good shot by Ozek and YOLO to finish it off. All of a sudden, Bobbers only with 3 tanks available.
Their hopes of winning the first round, they were high after getting that first kill, but they'll be low after Mafia responds in a quick fashion. They take the strike in the middle, they pull something back to the base, then they start the cap, pull tanks back towards the cap, and then they're just quicker on this repush where you would expect Bobbers to realize if they're not on the cap, Kihan, they're up to something.
Exactly, and Kono is going to be winning that 1v1 barely, but he does make it out alive, and now only that Gorilla of Lemisandros is remaining on the board for Bobbers. They are not going to start off Ola Season 2 the way that they wanted. And for Mafia, I mean, it looked a bit shaky throughout the round, but in the end, I think they found the absolutely brilliant, perfect response with that play here in the north of Airfield.
It was quick and decisive. They did good stuff, like I said, by pulling tanks out of position first, and those tanks did not return to covering positions nearly quick enough to adjust to what Mafia was doing, and they push across the B line, and then they repush back in, but, you know, leaves you wondering, where is the team from Bobbers when all of this is happening? They lose 3 tanks before I feel like half of them show up, even.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's 2 tanks isolated, you know, Kihan, that it's a pick. So the moment they leave the cap, you have to be scrambling, like, cover Radim and Elite, like, you have to.
Exactly, and it felt like there was no punishment on towards the cross from the Batchat and the RHM that were taking the crossfire positions. And that was, in the end, like, the biggest problem in this whole fight. Like, even if Radim and the other guy that had dropped down, even if they, you know, kill whatever drops on top of them, then they still have to defend themselves against the outside sniping that the Batchat and the RHM are gonna do. Like, over time, they're gonna die there easily without anything that, you know, they can do against it. So, yeah, I mean, it felt like Bobbers was finding a good opening until Mafia was just like, nah, gotcha. We're going to completely steal away the round from you. And that's just what they did. I mean, Kono also 5k damage. He was just wherever his team needed him to be. And also YOLO. I mean, beautiful play by the team of Mafia. Very coordinated, I think, as well, to net them the first round. So overall, I think the favorites here showing up stronger right now.
They showed a little weakness in the beginning, but they come back well and show Bobbers just the speed at which they are able to rotate and come back in and picking up the first round as well as a result. Yeah, but just good stuff from Mafia. There, of course, you see from that side, Kihan the Gorilla. I mean, he does 4.5k. Not all of that was useful damage, though. Having killed 1 tank in the beginning, being Yuzek, they still were even. They weren't even, but, you know, because they weren't in position. But if it was a real fight there, they would still only be even because the Gorilla is not contributing.
Yeah. I mean, good stuff from Mafia here. I think the reaction was just, you know, on point. And Bobbers just weren't, I guess, aware of the opening that they were presenting with 2 people down in the ditch of the strike. So, yeah, good stuff coming out from Mafia, and I think Bobbers, they need to somehow react. This was the map that they picked, so, not the best start, indeed, for them. But, you know, sometimes a cornered animal can be the most dangerous, so maybe the beaver, they will be able to channel the inner beaver within themselves and find success in this round number 2, because, of course, like, losing a round is bad in a best of 5, but it's not the end of the world if it's the first one.
But it's pretty impactful in the best of 5, though. It's you don't really have that many spare rounds that you can like play with, you know.
I mean, they can lose another one, but after that, they better damn stop with it. And even losing 1 more already means giving up at least 1 point, possibly in the tiebreaker. That being said, though, Mafia this time around are going to go with triple Mino. That's a lot of Italian armor coming into this one, together with a Batchat, WE4, and an RHM.
Batchat, Gorilla, double Mino, WE4, and an RHM. So Gorilla again from the other side. I find it more potent from this side personally, because you have that position there, like B9. Is it B9 or C9, C8? On top of that hill, that gives you, D9.
D9.
It gives you A spotted though. It's a thing to keep track of. Really good play in there. All 7 in the beginning for YOLO, while it's only 5 for Dash D. So keeping that into account. Yosi there, going wide to the rock, not crossing over, not taking the risk. Conrad will be going the late though. Let's see if he hits the timing necessary to actually take, because he doesn't look to be stopping. Dash D still holding. No, he just takes the first rock. He crosses in front of Dash D and he makes it just fine. So we're again in the classical stalemate at this moment in time.
Yep. We do see Flawless and Hero, though, going closer towards the strike that has baited people before. And once again, it's going to be Yuzek dropping in from the top. Flawless does see him, does take a lot of damage. No damage reduction actually coming in. Flawless down towards 1100. And the Batchat from the sidelines. Conrad is having a say about it as well. Yuzek to shut it down. Bobers losing a tank without really anything in return.
That's kind of weird, to be honest. Not gonna lie. Especially because if you look at the map, like, his teammates weren't really in position for this.
I mean, they were probably hoping that no one was inside, because, like, Yuzek was also dropping at the very point in time when, you know, Flawless started committing, but now it obviously ended up looking really bad. Which it was. They lost the tank for free, essentially. Yuzek still sitting there on full HP. And so now for Bobers, it's already starting off the game in a way where the rest of the round is gonna feel like an uphill battle.
It's like Mount Everest for them, and they're not rich, so they have to climb it themselves. No Sherpas to guide them. I mean, good peek there from Hero. Taps Yuzek in the back, but they're gonna need a lot more of those. They have to repush Yuzek. It's the only way to find something. But they don't think they can pull Mafia out of position, though. Mafia also doesn't have a Gorilla.
Yep. So essentially it's 2 fighting tanks down already, because if the Gorilla commits at some point, it's just gonna get torn apart by all of the guns from Mafia. DD is trying to take a little bit more map control, as Yuzek is once again gonna take the strike. He probably put it on some other... Yeah, I think Yosi just lost some HP. So adding a bit of insult to injury, as Hero with a good peek, this time from the other side, is going to put another shot into the Mino without taking any damage in return. So at least something going for Bobers, and it seems to be enough actually to bring them in front in the HP department, but still they are down a gun, and even Hero now taking one to the face by the Minotaur of Orzek is not going to help them a whole lot, as Orzek once again peaks, doesn't take a shot, and Hero now trading 0 against 2.
But the HP is very close, though. Maybe sneak across the J line, but the light's going to spot that. I'm not sure, Kian. How would you, the map guru, break this?
Well, I think I didn't make a guide about, you know, airfield and Onslaught.
Not my problem.
I still think that the options for Bobas are kind of limited. Oh, they do find some damage on towards YOLO, but I think what they're doing right now is sort of the best option available, because every time they tried sticking out their heads on the C or D line, they got themselves very, very bloody noses. And so now they're exploring the options in the south, but obviously they're still fighting from being humongously behind. Because they have a Gorilla that realistically can't really get too aggressive. And they only have the E4 and the double Mino that realistically can hold the front line, but can't really push in the north. So I think that what they're trying to do with the Batchat RHM combination in the south is one of the very, very few options that are left, but seems to not be going well for them. YOLO with a good HE shot and a strike to follow it up, so Yozi's options becoming more limited as his HP dwindle as well.
YOLO just taking back the other side of the base. Yuzek taking another strike. Oh, they need to find a kill key. Doing a little bit of damage to each member of Mafia is ideal for Mafia. They're like, I mean, some damage on YOLO, Marcel, Kono, we don't care. Like, we do not care. It doesn't do anything. They've also readjusted Conrad back into the base now. And now again, Keyhand, I'm gonna say it. You have this one tank that does not contribute to an active battle.
Yeah, Lemisandros in that Gorilla is not going to be able to find any openings here because Mafia, they have known about him since the start of the battle. And they're rightfully so, not really peeking into Lemmy here. Now Bobbers are trying to force a reaction from Mafia, but already the plane is going to confirm where exactly those two tanks by Bobbers are standing. So yeah, Hero here also holding the angle against Profuse, but is not really actively contributing cap points. Now he finally is. The strike does come in here, and both of them are gonna take 400 to the face, together with Profuse from the sidelines, also a shot, and I think this seems to be the trigger here for Mafia that are starting to engage.
Mafia is not gonna wait for the game to run out. They're gonna finish it themselves. They find Hero isolated. He will survive on 80 HP for a mere second as Profuse is moving forward as well. He's doing it slowly. He finds the kill. Now Radim, the next one on the chopping board. The Gorilla again. Sure, it's probably pumping a little bit on towards the tanks that he can, but they're so late to the reinforcers. They're gonna lose Radim as now Yozi and Tank Elite get involved into this battle. It seems rather late as the HP dwindles on the Mafia side, with Orchek and Kono being one shots, but they're alive versus 4 tanks from Bobbers with all 7.
Yeah, and while Bobbers have more HP at this point in time, once again it is the case that the Gorilla doesn't really contribute, and he holds 2k of the HP that Bobbers currently have. Now Tankalate here trying to hold on against a Yuzek as Yozi might get found by YOLO, and this time actually Conrad from the sidelines coming in, fully loaded Batchat as well. Yozi going down towards 6 HP and does get shot down. That's 4 unanswered kills by the side of Mafia.
3 tanks left standing from Bobbers between them and Matchpoint, and Mafia, they didn't want to wait. They said, we're not waiting until the very end. Kono with a big HE there against Dejdi as well. And Marcel, I think, intuitioning to HE as well to pick it up in one shot. Yeah, that E4 HE, it stings quite a lot against those lowly armored tank. That 1100 alpha with relatively good pen as well. If you have not tried that in Onslaught just yet, the E4 with HE Kihan would recommend.
Yeah, it's got the old unnerved HE alpha still, right? So definitely extremely potent. And Mafia are, after a little bit of what felt like a slow-paced game, going to secure themselves the second point here, and that was just absolute control and domination, really, from that team. Like, it never felt like Bobbers after the initial, let's call it a play by Flawless. After that one, it never felt like, you know, they could somehow find an opening back into the match.
Yeah, a play is one way to describe it.
It was an action, an input. Maybe it was a miss-in.
Yeah, it was a short action. Very short. But yeah, Mafia 2-0. Kind of what we expected in this match, Key, to be honest with you. The good thing there for Mafia is they trained their execution a bit at the end. Near the end as well, they're like, we're not going to wait for the time to run out. We see an opportunity to kill them, we're going to take it.
Yep. And rightfully so they did here. I mean, Lemmy once again on top damage, but I would argue that some of that damage was dealt when the battle was decided. So once again, the Gorilla without an impact on airfield at this point in time. And on the other side, we find those frontline brawlers that Mafia brought being very, very effective. I think particularly Yuzek against Hero in the E4. Outstanding shots coming out from him. Just, you know, 2 for nothing is always a trade that I guess every single player will take, and most people are just not able to make it happen. However, Yuzek was able to do just that. instrumental in the success of Mafia in this round as well. But yeah, what was Flawless doing? It was weird to see.
I think they really assumed that nobody went there. I think from their perspective, let's think about it this way, Key. Dejdi didn't spot Conrad. He also missed him at the plane in the beginning, so they had only info on 5, if you remember, and he got to that rock. So, from their perspective, there was nobody crossed to the rock because Dejdi would spot it, but he didn't because it's a bad low noise. They thought that they were watching up for a guy dropping in, so they thought, okay, it's clear, we'll put Lemmy behind them to take, and then they'll have to repush. Little did they know that there was already somebody dropped in, and there was a batch at the rock. I think that if I were to best guess with the information that bobbers were going off, is that it was clear.
Yeah, I think the timing was also like horrible for Flawless because like he was committed in, and then Yuzek was in the process of dropping. Anyway, after Airfield, we are now gonna go towards Ghost Town. And we'll see if Mafia will be able to like immediately shut it out here, or if Boba's managed to stay alive. Because so far, I think Mafia has done a really, really good job of not giving away any advantages that they've been given. And so if Bobers don't find a way to turn around this trend, then we might see once again a very short match.
Yeah, that is indeed a thing that we may be looking at, that it may be... Well, short, not really, because, you know, the airfield rounds were pretty long, but Mafia also bringing the can opener, the double band, the Leo, the E4, the EBR, and the RHM. Seems a lot like we saw from Pinky End.
Yeah, and talking about tanks that were changed, the 60TP received a bit of a nerf, although I don't think it really affects too much how it plays in Onslaught, and that seems to be why Bobas are bringing 5 of them, together with double light of their own, but it's going to be an RHM and a Tessak to boot.
Alafini, 60p?
Well,
Did they miss the patch in which it got nerfed? I really do like the... What are we gonna call it? The differences in opinion in that team. Hero, I don't know what he did. I think he doesn't have field mods. Honestly, I don't think he has field mods. Radim and Flawless, I think, have experimental HP. You can double check. And Yozi or they don't have the last field mod to the extra HP, and Tanklead and Yozi have the field mod to the extra HP. Something like this.
well, first of all, Hero is going to lose some of the HP that he has towards the Leopard one of Marcel that doesn't have enough XP yet to generate a baby strike. So in turn, it's gonna have to be the strike that's currently getting taken by the can opener of YOLO. 8 seconds only to go, so they'll need some reset. 1 HG shell actually going wide, and this means that Bobas here have the opportunity to possibly get around on the board. No, last second reset to save Mafia here.
And a big strike on top, and Conrad to pick up Dejdi in return in that corner, and now this hard-pressed attempt at capping will run into another strike by Yuzek, if I'm not mistaken, and Lemmy is now on the run as well, and yeah, 60p sparked in the cap, very cool. Lemmy taking 1, Lemmy taking 2, Lemmy taking about 1 more, but he's running into Yuzek on the other end, so it's like 1 batch shot from one side, 1 batch shot from the other, and Lemmy in the middle, and we can see there, Kihan, what the can opener is able to do. That hold-down position he found pretty good.
Yeah, it's also quite the tall tank, so even though he has kind of limited gun depression, he's able to completely make it work against Tankalit. Obviously not the best DPM on the can opener here, but it's enough to chip away at the HP that Tankalit has here. Meanwhile, though, the cap has been going further, and that is the goal of Tankalit here right now, is to not let the can opener decap, but the decaps seem to be coming in from the other side as Marcel with the Leopard 1 able to put shots in towards the 60 TPs, and the hopes and dreams of Boba seem to be falling apart at this point in time. The 560 TPs still up and alive, every single one of them, but they're not healthy.
You know what I would do, Kian, if I'm Tankalit down position and I have to shoot at a can opener, when it gives me this pop-up, rate this battle experience, I press the thumbs down button, yeah? Straight up.
Well, I don't think it was the individual positioning of the can opener that necessarily made like a big difference here. I think it was just in general that Mafia was completely outplaying Bobbers, like they have been doing in the entirety of the match. Radim is going to get shut down by Kono, and Mafia do get the third clean sweep of the day. This one against the Bobbers, 3-0.
There was some attempt in this last round. Maybe it could work someday. And a lot of HP on the cap, but
I mean, to be honest, like the reset was last second. If that shot for some reason misses, then we're talking about a game where Boba's just won by a cap. But yeah, all in all, congratulations to Mafia. To 3 pretty dominant rounds. I think Boba's were the closest here in the last round, even though at the end it looked very brutal. In the middle of it, it looked like they could be able to win out something. But yeah, Mafia, I think also with the experience, really putting down the foot and yeah, winning out. I mean, after 3-0, it's always kind of harsh for the team that loses. Then again, they put themselves into this position. And as we do see the damage numbers coming in, yeah, Mafia just did more.
Yeah, they definitely did more. My favorite part of that battle was the different HPs on the 60 piece, you know? A little bit of left, right, and everywhere. Yeah, for Mafia, I mean, the first airfield round was a challenge. The second one was pretty clean, and this one, it came close, but if you pick that lineup, Kian, you should know how to deal with triple cap pressure.
Yep.
Or at least have an idea.
And I think the way that the can opener was used, like, it is sort of like the perfect tank to go into the position because you're like super hold down.
Here he goes, trying to sell the can opener to everybody watching. Listen, he's going to say some nice things about it, make people grind it, and then 6 months from now, he's going to nerf it. Average Kihan moment.
Me personally, I'm going to do it, of course. It's going to be me typing in.
You're totally transparent to me, buddy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, obviously this was the last match of the day. You can see in front of you the playdays of the Onslaught Legends Series Season 2. Today, the goodness was only starting. Every single day is going to have the drops as well, of course. And like every day, after the matches are over, we are obviously going to raid Ducky if he's going to be with us on the stream as well. You will be able to finish off your drops there. So don't be afraid if you weren't able to claim it completely already yet. That being said, I think today the drops are kind of more juicy than for most other days because today you'll also have a day of premium as well as a CS63 and a T110E4 as Onslaught rentals. And here you can see the goodies that you'll be able to earn with your tokens as well. So multiple layers of rewards, not only for the players, but also for the most important people on the stream. And that is you guys, you watching.
So when we look at the standings now, 4 teams have won, 4 teams have lost. So, I mean, there's not too much to tell from this just yet, Kihan, except that 4 teams have lost and 4 teams have won.
Exactly. I mean, Cashback, Darkside, and Mafia obviously all sitting on a shared place 1 currently with a clean vest, not dropping a single round. Then LTP is on the 4th one with the 3-1 score line. Same amount of points, but obviously a worse round difference. And that is why also Ping is sitting above Bobbers, Hit, and W. Because while losing, they at least managed to get a single round.
True. I mean, picking up rounds is always important because it can end up mattering in the very, very end. You want your round difference to be as positive as possible. So picking them up now is already an important start. I will agree on that. Every match matters, of course, in terms of points. Today we already saw some things that, you know, hopefully we will not see again, like the hit and run performance, but best of 5's Kihan. They can lead to some interesting upsets.
yeah, I mean, best of 5 is an extremely like short match, so upsets can happen. But then again, like even if a best of 7 had happened today, for example, for hit and run, like they were just not looking up to the task. We might have the same result just with a bigger best of.
True.
Anyway, that is going to conclude our stream for today. So thank you for watching. Tune in on Sunday. Until then, have fun on Ducky's stream. Bye bye and good night.